Well, pull up a chair, it's story time. From Stephen McDaniels to Gabriel Renee's crimes. Amy Day's tale, a dark design, but they cover it all with comedy in mind. The world of true crime, they're always spewing lies. The world of true crime, they leave their shoes behind. The world of true crime, they entertain you and I. They always do time in the world of true crime. They dig up the facts, but the jokes will fly. Dark tales and humor, a curious tie. From mysteries old to motives unkind, they'll lighten the load with a laugh you'll find. Their downfall's worse than a suitcase on the stairs. Justice comes tumbling, nobody cares. On YouTube they gather this team you can't miss, turning chaos and crime into comical bliss. The world of true crime, they're always spewing lies. The world of true crime, they leave their shoes behind. The world of true crime, they entertain you and I. They always do time in the world of true crime. So if you crave justice with a laugh on the side, tune in for a wild, unforgettable ride. Dark humor and crime, they intertwine in the world of true crime. The laughs align.
Dog. Cat. Mouse. Turtle.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio, and again, welcome to it. We've got quite a show for you tonight, or maybe it will be. I don't know. We haven't done it yet. Let me just do my co-host and producer. Chris is right over there off camera.
Hi.
So, let's unpack this a little bit, right? So, if you're here, you probably saw Anthony Palma's face on the thumbnail. So, who is this guy, right? So, what happened with him? Here are the Cliff's notes. Now, he was
Cool.
Thick Fiver from Maxwell English. Thank you very much,
Thanks, Maxwell.
Much obliged, and also welcome. Also, hello, Brick Newton and everybody else, Matt, Ryan. Here's some notes. So, what the crime in question is? So, Anthony here, back in, if I've got the math right, 1997, lived in a neighborhood where, like, he was just the best dude in the world. You'll see all about it in a minute. But there was an 8-year-old in that neighborhood who was abducted, like through the window, snuck off into the night. Now, like, so whatever, it became a cold case. There was blood on the windowsill. There was blood on the child's garments that were left in the backyard. You'll see which ones when we get into it. No DNA testing was done until 2014. The case was reassigned after, the first guy or whoever had it first, second, or third couldn't get it. So there was also the FBI was involved. It whittled down to about 10 dudes they took buccal swabs from. I don't know if it's buccal or buccal. Everybody says it's different in all the different interrogations.
I like to think it's buccal because buccal just sounds like mucus. Mucus and
Stephen Buchel.
B.
So they took 10 swabs, And guess whose DNA matched the blood on the sill and on the undergarments of the child?
Oh boy.
It was Anthony. Anthony here, obviously. So they'll get into the odds. Now, the reason I like this interrogation, I don't tend to do things where, like, the younglings are involved. Like, this one is so... I don't know, like the interrogation itself in a bubble is like a perfect example of like how I think every one of them should go, because there's a decent amount of like bullshitting and like getting like all the read technique is on display. There'll be, touching moments where they talk about their indigestion and stuff like that and what type of pills they're taking, et cetera, et cetera. Old people talk. But we're going to get to that point where it's like, yeah, we've got the DNA. Buccal, the second way he said
Ugh, that sounds like a terrible word.
Joey Buccal Foucault.
Cool.
Does that stuffed light bulb has dreads on it? Does that stuffed light bulb has dreads with a... Oh, wait, what? I'm confused. Sir, please.
Sir, please.
Dreads with a smile? I don't know, man. Here we go.
Cool.
I was a little confused, but also thank you again, Maxwell. I appreciate it. Other way? I don't know, man. I don't know. You're confusing me. It's so early. Over here?
Oh, that.
Oh, this? That's a face hugger. My God. A light bulb with dreads. It's a face hugger from, I got it at Goodwill, but
with
somebody
tentacles
got it in a geek box at some point, or one of those fucking subscription boxes. Anyway, whoops, wrong button. Moral of the story is, this is, so again, 2014 was when the case was handed over. The FBI got involved. 2015, the DNA comes back, which is the same year that our boy here is arrested. Now, even though it's a case where there, minors involved, which I don't typically cover, the end of this rainbow is kind of nice, and I'll spoil it for you. So he got life in prison, so bye-bye forever. But then in 2019, he was found unresponsive in his cell. And his cellie obviously took the blame, and maybe I think he even said he did it, because
you're already there, so
dudes like Tony here don't last in the joint, or if they do, they have to keep a secret. It's pronounced Wested.
Wested.
It's just life. So yeah, that's the thing. I would like to think that some portion of what he did was done to him, like emotionally, just as recompense. Because one of the other things is like the kid was never found. Like they couldn't give her a proper burial, and yada. He took that to his grave, which is typically what happens. If like cosmic justice basically works out, if they have something they should tell but don't, they're gonna get got in prison.
But then you wonder, he spent 17 years, 18 years out in the wild. Like, did he do this to anybody else?
That's the thing that I question as well, because dudes who do this sort of shit don't just do it once. Like Chris Hansen always asks, is this your first time? And they always go, yeah, it's my first time. Bullshit. No, you don't like just one day in 1997 in the middle of the night get like your jimmies rustled and you run into somebody else's backyard and abduct their child. It just doesn't happen like that. But he, even according to him, he was like a savior or like a popular figure in the neighborhood to the children. We'll hear his hero stories. But yeah, total fucking scumbag, and glad he's dead. So let's just roll right into it.
Nicotine and caffeine.
We're kind of like it's chopped. Also, credit where credit is due. This is footage, raw footage comes from Red Circle interrogations, police footage, something like that. God damn it, I'll link it in the description.
We're the same age, and I tell you anymore, if I drink a lot of water. I had some stomach issues, and the doctor says drink water.
Got gastrointestinal
It really helps with
disease.
Gotta pee a lot. Prostate.
Indigestion real bad.
He's not.
Cool.
Jimmy Rustler was my name in high school. Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that. No, not Red Tree Crime. I do like their newest one is really good. Dude says bruh too much. Bruh, don't say bruh in an interrogation room, bruh. All right?
Bruh.
Oi, brother. You can say that. Hey, brother, am I accused of a crime, brother? No, don't even do that. No, dude's not black. He's white. I think he's Italian a little bit,
yeah.
obviously. He's a little swarthy with the last name like Palma.
He might be Sicilian.
Yeah, he was one of those dudes who did a lot of yard work and shit. Like, gets that healthy looking-ish dad tan. What is happening, Rachel?
Hey.
I won't give it up. But if I can sleep through the
I'm glad
night
you're here.
for
I had to leave my
45
apartment
hours,
for
I haven't
entertainment.
gotten pee.
Yeah.
About 6
Bro.
I know
I don't mind bro as much as I hate bruh. Like, bruh. Bruh. Like, bro, I kind of get. Like I say, bro. Like, that's a nice...
Elliot calls me bro sometimes.
Yeah, like, it's a nice round. Like, there's nothing
There's
like,
an O.
weird about it. Bro. Bruh. Hey. Or brother. I like that too.
exactly
Rough.
what you're talking about.
You know, when
That's me.
when we fly, we have family out of state, so we have to fly there.
Don't we all, guys?
The
This
day
is how you
before
relate
I
to your
leave, I start
suspect.
dehydrating myself. I can't stand to get on a plane and have to try to pee. And it never fails. I don't know if it's the cabin pressure or what. I can go pee
What?
5 seconds.
What the
before
hell,
I
my
get on.
bladder?
As soon as it gets up in the
Water
air,
is leaking
I gotta go
out.
pee. You know, and everyone,
I hope to God I'm never like. Obviously, I'll be this old at some point, but I hope to God I'm not one of those old people who talks about their fucking bodily functions. Like my generation has already thrown its hat into the ring as far as like meme status, because the boomers and the Gen Xers have that on lock apparently, because all their backs and necks hurt. But goddamn, dude, like there are some conversations you have with people where you go, why are either of us making noise right now? Like, talking about how much you piss, dude.
you're walking down the aisle trying to get people out of the
Bro
way.
is a common form of communication in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We could have a
Especially
whole
that really
conversation using just bro.
Yeah, so I've learned to just dehydrate myself like crazy before.
I'll take a diuretic.
What in the Lord is he talking about?
It never fails. It never fails.
Anyway, we're going to arrest you because your blood matched the...
No, they that's the thing. They play it out. That's why I like this interrogation, because it's got a I don't want to say like a 3-act structure, but it's got a definite familiarity where like we know we're going in where they have like I love the ones where you go and they know they have the video footage, like with Brophy or whoever. Whether it's a gas station robbery or whatever, they go in saying, look, okay, tell me your story. And then they go, boom, like they let them build this tapestry of lies and they blast it with apart with a blunderbuss when they say, well, we got the DNA, we got the video, we found your hat, like your butt plug collection was left at the scene and we swabbed all those.
Whenever I go to bed, I have to have something right there. Because, yeah, I get
Like
up
pizza.
2 or 3 times to do my nebulizer. And then you have to have something to drink.
Keep that in mind. I don't want to spoil it.
His nebulizer?
Keep his nebulizer in mind.
Oh boy, I'll just keep it there.
Not like it's not going to be like a grand reveal or whatever, but everybody, if you're not familiar, nebulizer are like breathing treatments for lung and or breathing difficulty and issues. Something he'll reveal later will make you, and maybe it won't make you angry, but it always makes me angry.
I have to wash the yuckiness out, go down.
Oh, that yucky.
Rachel, this guy, this was from like 97 was the original crime.
That's only if I'm doing the math right, because like I was just taking Cliff's notes. He was caught in 2015, and they bring up the fact that it's been on his mind for 17 years. So if I get it wrong by a year, sorry. But yeah, like the crime was committed, the child was abducted, she was 8. God damn, it boils my blood that he sits here and fucking, we'll get into it.
Asthma real bad and
Yeah, you're right, man. Decent furniture, but if you'll notice, it's only the 2 like detectives' asses that are going to be comforted. This is like something you'd see at like a church banquet that they keep in a closet behind the pews.
give them treatments at home instead of having to go pay $1,000 at the ER. to get a
Goddamn breathing
treatment.
treatments.
The insurance company says, well, no, you got to have a prescription from a doctor to get it. We're going,
You do.
He doesn't wash.
Although both my machines were gave to me. You know, I didn't have to beg, you know.
the steroid stuff that you
Yeah, I would love a hand-me-down nebulizer, something like somebody's run a few lungfuls through, like maybe even save that old mouthpiece.
put
It's like
in, you have
reusing a neti pot.
Yeah. Oh
how
god.
that works.
But you're are all.
Anytime I can get somebody else's body fluid inside of me, possibly exposing me to a contagion, I'll take it off of Craigslist. Yeah. Hypodermic full of
Winning.
possibly infected blood. Yeah, right here.
Full faith in something.
Okay. He's going to be nice to you anyway. Well, I know you said
Let's
no,
talk
but
about
I was
prostates.
drinking in front of somebody, and
How's your butthole holding up, buddy?
Wade and them have a little advantage over me, Tony. They've met you before.
Oh, here we go.
And I want to I thank you for coming down here to talk to us.
Well, you know,
And,
as a state employee, you know, it's something we have to do.
That's the thing. Like he starts off immediately like identifying like as quickly as possible. Like with Stephen Duxbury did this too with Sasha Samsudin, where like he was a security guard. Like you take whatever you can get as far as like trying to win brownie points. So if you go like, oh, I'm trying to be a cop, but I'm a security guard now, or in this case, like he could be like a park ranger for all I know. Like, but he's like a state employee, so I felt obligated. But here's the thing: he knows he killed the kid. Why did he why is he here? Because he's an idiot, right? Because the first thing you do is like, if 17 years after the fact, someone says, hey, can we talk about that thing that happened 17 years ago that you were questioned about as well? Like you would go, no, or I would a lawyer. Like, if somebody came back to me, like obviously, when they came knocking for his DNA, he gave it up immediately. But he's watched crime shows, and that's the thing. Like people, maybe it's just that, like they're hoping that they're asking everybody for DNA, and they can't possibly test it all without probable cause or something.
Yeah.
But they always do. They know. They do their homework. Like if you're sitting here, like forget about what happens in the court, because like you could win, lose, or draw in there, like the closure rate of cases and yada yada yada. But here, they're not gonna like sit you down and do this so long after and blow smoke up your ass unless they have like an ace in the hole. Sometimes they do that, but oftentimes they're going to sit you down and again let you build this house of cards and then smash the fuck out of it with a baseball bat.
And then arrest you.
well,
You have to abide by all
well, we appreciate
law
it.
enforcement,
State. I mean, Scott.
all that.
And here's where we're kind of bad.
Here we are.
We're still looking at the Hurston Hatfield thing. And we're going back and we're talking to a lot of people. And I know over the years,
You weren't there the first time they came down, were you?
you know,
No, I was with Miller the last time we came to talk to you about the other deal.
you, over 17 years, I know in my
Succulent Chinese meals in prison, indeed.
life, I've changed a lot.
That's why you get thrown in jail.
And so we wanted to talk to you about if you can kind of tell me 17 years ago how your life was, how that neighborhood was, what was going on in that neighborhood.
Not gonna
I know
lie.
I've talked-
If somebody asked me, I mean, I know this is a different case because like it was a thing that happened then, but like if somebody said, hey, what was life like 17 years ago when you were living in Connecticut? I'd be like, I don't fucking remember.
Well, and here's the thing: if they're gonna waste your time like this, like they're fine, like starting at idle and just rolling down the street. You know you're in trouble,
Right.
Because if you weren't like necessarily a suspect, they jump right to the meat of the matter. Again, like the Sasha Samsudin case, like with the last person she's texted Ben, they pulled him in. They did not like waste a lot of time with
Yeah.
him being like, so where are you from and how you been? And that's a cool mustache and this and that or the other. Like they pretty much got down to it because they go, you know, they were strongly looking at him because like last person to text is probably the best they had, like because they didn't know the last person that got seen with her.
Yeah.
So you know, whatever.
I've read some of the reports that from the interviews before and how it appears to me that they call you Uncle Tony around there because you care about the kids. You were feeding
Well,
some of the kids.
yeah.
And
Right, but here's the thing, guys.
Right, yes,
You
Rachel.
are putting yourself in a situation where someone's like coming to you, someone who hasn't, hopefully, murdered somebody, and they go, "Where were you 17 years ago?" Now, if you had murdered someone 17 years ago, and they go, "Hey, what's up with that?" Like time frame, of course you would have. But that's what the first card in the deck, right? They go, "Well, what was like 17 years ago?" if I didn't have something in my life marking that, like that caused me trauma or that I definitely knew I could go to the clink for the rest of my life for, I would be like you guys and obviously go like, what? What 17 years? What year would that be? Like, how long after that was high school? I don't know. I don't have milestones anymore now that I've left school and just became an adult. But if, again, someone says, hey, well, like let's say benign even, like you were in a car accident in 2005. They go, what happens in 2005? You might go, oh, my car was exploded when someone blew through a red. But if they ask you that question, they go, where were you 20 years ago? You go, I don't fucking know. You go, well, aha. Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously.
Break says, oh, I just thought back, and 17 years ago was the year I got married the first time.
Yeah, see? And that's you might come across something like that, but you're not going to go like,
What if you did crimes all the time, says Mr. Yabo.
Well, that's the thing, too, because if again, he is like a TCAP personality where this is his first and only whatever, which I don't believe, maybe. But then again, you'd be like, more often than not, when you have multiple, like you typically relish in those details. I like not as, it's a hard and fast rule, but it's like a rule of thumb. Like you would definitely be like, whoa, like that's the time I was active doing XYZ, like when BTK, like I don't know if he collected the names and addresses of all that stuff, but like, I feel like if there's more than one, you're going to remember them.
Yeah.
Because that's what weird criminals do. Like they want to relive it because they're weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
That was like I don't know, not no retirement place, but most of the people in that area were old retirees.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like doing stuff all the time. You know, I was always outside.
So here's the thing. Most of them were retirees, but there's going to be a bunch of poor kids also living there in a second, so just keep that in mind.
And if somebody's working on their vehicle, got to go be
Did
busybody. Hey, you know, help
Hashtag
'em.
conspiracy.
Somebody's washing machine was broke down. And older people, you know, they can't. Night older people, you know, can't do stuff.
And here we are,
I've
guys,
always
right?
been
High five to old
mechanically
people.
inclined, you know, where I could
13,
figure stuff
Maxwell?
out, you know, or help them move
13?
this, or you know, just I've always been, I don't know about friendly, but neighborly.
Right.
And that being my first home,
Right.
you know, I tried to make it where that neighborhood was my home.
Yeah. Well, did you help any of the kids over there?
Well, when the
Feed them pizza?
They were
I've
older
always-
people.
There's always, that's
You
my
were
pet.
Kool-Aid house?
Well, I don't know about Kool-Aid. That's always been.
What?
Your Kool-Aid house? Like that? I don't know, man. There are some things you just can't help that just like sound sinister in certain situations. And typically it's like stuff related to kids. Like if
Yeah.
you're the Kool-Aid house, like I wouldn't want that reputation on my block. Like, are you
No.
kidding me? I love Kool-Aid. You know, got many classic memories of the commercials and drinking their sugary beverage. But like, if someone started calling my house the Kool-Aid house, I'd go, where did I go wrong? But then again, if that happened, I'd probably be fully aware, like Anthony here.
Yeah,
He probably would know.
we used to, this is not like creepy necessarily, but there was a woman, a lady that lived in the house next to my cousins, and she was always the cookie lady. Mrs. Bakioki, we would literally we would just show up at her house and she'd give
Right,
us cookies,
but
and I
you
didn't
have
even
to-
know her first name.
Yeah, again, there's always going to be situations that are breaking the rules. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes, and obviously you probably had people in your life of both persuasions. It's just like, you know, you have to keep your head on a swivel because
Yeah.
if like my cousin's next door neighbor, when we were growing up, we'd like swim in the pool at night because it was like slumber party time. We were watching MTV, Beavis and Butthead was on. We got to hit the pool at 10 o'clock. You know, the neighbor would be, he walked that line between like cool and creepy because he would do fun things like pop up with a werewolf mask and like howl at the moon and just like do silly shit. But sometimes he would do like bizarre things, like throw paper airplanes into the pool and stuff. And you go, what the fuck is that?
That's weird.
It's been my pet peeve is I grew up hungry. You know, and there's a lot of kids hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not where I'd go out of my way, hey, you hungry? But I mean, you see kids, you're over there eating something, and they're just,
Right.
you know,
Ted Bundy joined the LDS Church. Good Lord.
You see him draw, here, take it.
But that's the thing. If you're gonna find Jesus, like you're like, there's two ways to find Jesus, right? Like you hit rock bottom, or you're just raised that way, so you're like in that, or you go to jail, and that's where you luckily find it. Like after
Like Sarah Boone.
the worst things that you could do, you did, and that's when you found him, and you go, oh, doe! It's like driving your car off like a cliff, and then like realizing you need to turn left instead of right when your car's in flames at the bottom, and you go, oh man, well shucks. So
I can't stand that.
Law school.
And
You sound like
that,
you
like that. Now,
enforced
he
law
lives in
enforcement.
my house. Grown boys. One, he says that when he was at his house, he didn't eat from Monday to Friday till he got to my house.
Wow.
So he's rolling into, even though it's all older people who don't know how to do jack shit. Now, like these kids who also now live in the neighborhood, possibly with these older people, are just going without food.
Right.
And he'll tell a story later that I find at the very least unbelievable, at most like laughable.
No, that's one of the stories I want to turn my phone off so people
Yeah,
will
me
leave
too.
me alone.
They having a beer.
Here, Tony, let me go ahead and I want to read
Like this won't be like Todd Colehep levels of like, let's get you a meatball sub, but they're definitely like again, I don't want to spoil it while they're reading the rights. You just sort of like, this thing will go, it's a roller coaster, because like after, there are some interrogations where after they drop the bomb, and the suspect doesn't get like super upset and they still sit there and they keep taking your shit. They I don't know, man. Like at some point, if you weren't guilty, you get up and walk out and be like, am I free to go? Like, this is fucked. But he sits there and he's like, can I have a cigarette?
And if you decide to make a statement, you can stop at any time.
Oh, also, if they ever read you your rights, you know, if you haven't thought to get a lawyer until then, do it now. When they
Right.
say the word lawyer, you go, yes, please.
And do you understand each of those rights I've explained to you? Having those rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us?
Yes.
Okay. As my
He's
partner,
got to have that sig break.
Lander said,
And it's confusing. We'll get to it, hopefully. Obviously, we will. But, like, it's confusing when he does, like, offer the dude a smoke. Because they go, I got to go check on a thing that when we get to it, we'll
we're
get
still
to it.
working on the Hatfield case, okay? And there's some things that we want to go back over with you. We try
He's
to be
getting
as
checked
thorough
in.
as we can be on cases like this, and I'd like to go back initially.
Tony, not Tony, I'm going to call him Anthony. Anthony looks like he smells like
I'm kind of up to speed on
lawnmower gas, yard clippings, and like wicked BO with like a wafting of Coors Light when he breathes.
disappeared.
Yeah.
You were still living there at 1104, correct? Okay.
The right to bear tobacco.
Do you mind just initially kind of take us back to 1997 and
I
go
got
back?
it right. P.S. I watched this earlier today, so spoiler alert.
You knew you were
I
right.
kind of knew.
Oh, maybe that
But, you know, I don't want to feel like full of myself. What if I was wrong? Then I would look stupid.
evening before and into that morning.
Oh, yeah, and
when
weed
all of it
killer,
all
for sure.
kind of
Cheap
start blowing
menthols and
up.
ass.
Just best you can tell us everything.
I'm saying, like, he's got that smell that, like, you get on a hot day where you sweat just enough where, like, that wicked BO starts to come up from your grundle, but not so hot, like, you don't sweat enough where you just, like, wash the grundle stink. It's just, like, there long enough to really cement a colony of bacteria between your balls and your asshole, if you're a dude or ball owner.
Everything you remember.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
This
take
guy
your
loves
time.
the
I know
one-armed
we're going back
bandits.
some years.
Yeah, and I'm
Rachel
starting to get that old timer stuff. But really, the only thing I can
Yeah, Maxwell's
really
a ball owner,
remember
you
is
know.
afterwards, when, 'cause it was just a typical day. Got off work, went home, had supper, watched TV. Because used to being a landscaper, my yard.
Did I call it or did I call it? P.S. I
Already
watched this
knew.
earlier, but still, that's what I said to myself the first time I saw this interrogation. Now here at the 40th, I go, yeah, I was right. Fucking yard clippings and like smoke infiltrated farts. Like you know how sometimes you can, like, maybe you didn't do this, but I thought to myself, if you can make yourself burp, like if you can suck air into your stomach cavity, I thought that physically it felt possible to me, but like if you wanted to like fart on your brother, for instance, but you had no farts, I thought if I swallowed enough burps and like forced them down, they'd eventually come out as farts. I haven't checked Wikipedia to see if it's true. Why did I tell you that story?
Supper is dinner.
Everybody
Maxwell.
went.
Oh yeah, we have. So if you're from the South, which I'm pretty sure this is, you have breakfast, dinner, and supper. If you're west of the Mississippi or up in the middle north, you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But a lot of people in the South or other like quaint little places, breakfast, dinner, supper.
It was breakfast, lunch, supper was just
Yeah, I
supper
mean,
for
lunch
dinner.
and dinner are sometimes interchangeable, but supper is always the last meal of the day if you sup.
Over there, but that's what I did. I always worked on my yard.
Mr. Yabo says you could turn burps into farts, but you have to hang upside down, otherwise you're fighting gravity.
Right, and that's the problem. Like you would have to like drink or like have a plug of some sort of food. But yeah, again, like what I was like 7. My physics, my biology was a little flawed, so I'm gonna take the L on that one.
And back then, you said you were working at the Capitol?
Yes.
So, okay. So you were very experienced keeping the yard
Oh
up.
yeah. Got
Yeah, like a food plug, Maxwell. Apart from the other plugs that typically come up on this show.
chemical license, all that. Yeah.
Okay. You remember anything about the day or evening before? You said it was just a typical day. You worked all day and then went home.
I've got an ex-boyfriend who can tell you how to turn anything into farts. Like a MacGyver of the ass. It's like how stoners are like, everybody's like a MacGyver in their own way. And if your MacGyver tool is your ass, I mean, maybe the world's your oyster. I don't know.
You remember anything unusual about that evening that stands out to you?
Nice.
No,
Brett.
other than what I told them about, seeing the white truck, in front of the white Chevy truck in front of their yard.
It was Lawrence.
Okay.
But he had a
You
Dodge.
know, like I said, I
Fartist.
didn't have anything to do with those people. Didn't know them at all.
Okay.
It's not like I went, hey, yeah, you got a little girl. No, it wasn't nothing like that.
Yeah, of course. That's how you would interact with your neighbors. Oh, hey, you got a little girl? Blah, blah, blah. Like, but okay, but that's the first like chink in his armor. Like the way to slip past whatever bullshit he is saying is like if he is constantly, and he'll like double down on this later, but if you're gonna be like a nosy busybody and help the elderly with their appliances and feed the hungry children who go 5 out of the 7 days with no food, like you're just gonna turn your nose up at the one house that a horrible crime happened? Huh. Right, Blue Angel. Half date. I brought up Kenny versus Spenny before, but I would say like a couple of things. The fart episode, second to none. But that guy who has the record for farting, who farts
Oh my
in
God.
Spenny's face,
Crazy.
it's crazy. I
I
love
was
it.
I was outside working on my yard, either talking to the neighbors or kid would come by, Tony, can you fix my bike? Stuff like that.
But I shunned the house with the murder victim. Everybody else would come to me. I would fix their bikes. I would feed them pizza and chicken. The elderly people would rub their mothball-scented clothes on me in recompense for fixing their dryer. But never did I go into the house in question.
It wasn't like I'd tell them to come over or anything. I wouldn't go to other people's houses unless, I was needed or something like that. But everybody just got, oh, Tony will fix your bike and blah, 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 And I tried to make it feel like, that was kind of a safe place, for.
Right, like that's the thing. People always say that. I don't. There was probably a time when that did exist, when like, everybody on the neighborhood, like that you lived on, like, not to be like, oh, back in the old days, but I feel like when I was young, I had that situation going on. Like I knew all my neighbors on the street. I knew who I could go to what for. Like 2 of my 3 best friends lived there, and my dad was the guy that the kids would bring their shit to fix because I would constantly tell them he could do that. But that wasn't like, it wasn't like he was out there with a cardboard sign being like, I'll fix your toys. Like I would just volunteer him for shit. But I was a kid, they were kids, it felt right at the time. I wasn't like rolling up to a dude like weed eating, smelling like a burnt down brewery to be like, hey, Mr. Tony, can you fix my Huffy? No.
Because I had
My back!
Tristy at the time. She wasn't there during that time, but I had Tristy there since she was, small. And whenever she was there, the kids would come and play with her. And
Now,
you
who
know,
is Tristy?
she was one of my girlfriend's daughters that stayed with me a lot.
Okay.
He got a lot of girlfriends.
So you
Not a
had
lot.
good
He's no Travis.
bond with Tristy. I'm assuming.
Travis.
I'm not sure you have, Anthony.
Yeah.
Was she
And her mom. Yeah.
Who was mom?
Mom's dead, unfortunately.
Oh.
Melody.
Killed
I
her.
don't know which name she wanted to go to.
Who's mom? Oh, she's dead. That's an odd way to answer that question. Who is she? Well, she's dead.
How?
Okay. How
She
old
had
is
2
Tristy
daughters.
now?
That's her name. Dead.
Listen, like people, I'm just done being surprised at the levels of society where we go, oh, they had a significant other. Like at every layer of the tree, there is an animal to eat that fruit. Even the shit that falls to the floor, the forest floor, and it gets covered in dirt and bugs. There's someone down there eating that fruit too. So whether you're flying by and picking the freshest because you're a southbound swallow or a blue jay or a cardinal eating cherries, or you're some grub-bellied sack of shit like Tony here who's like just munching down on the moldy shit that falls from the top. There's always somebody to eat that fruit.
Yeah.
Whatever side of the fence you want to be, the fruit or the woodland creature.
Grown, I'm assuming.
Yeah, about 30.
Okay.
No, we don't talk that much anymore because
'Cause she's
everybody's
dead?
into this computer stuff, and that's how they
she died.
communicate. But my daughter was looking on her Facebook, and she'd send us a text that she was fixing to have or that I'm a grandpa.
No.
She had a daughter.
Anthony's the type of guy who, like, if I can't confirm this, but if he did have a Facebook, he would do like that boomer type shit that all the boomers did when Facebook started, like write on someone's wall, but confuse that for like a personal message, and they'd write it like an old timey letter where it's like, my dearest Gertrude, things are okay in the Minnesota wasteland. Signed, yours truly in love always, so and so Palma.
And his picture on Facebook would be like looking like the camera would be like looking up their nose.
When everybody over the age of 60 gets a tablet, they have to put on a pair of half glasses, look down into the most horrifying lighting imaginable, and take a picture of their nostrils like straight to their brain.
A daughter.
Okay. You said you didn't know them. I'm assuming you're meaning Shannon and Kirsten.
Yeah.
Rachel.
And I couldn't even tell you how long.
That's the thing. There are a lot of people down there. That's why they're getting laid, and I'm not.
Listen, just stay up on the tree, Rachel. If you fall down, you're gonna get eaten by something that you don't want. You know what I mean? Like if you were a perfect cherry hanging on a branch, would you want that cardinal with all of its beautiful plumage coming and taking a bite, or would you want like
This guy.
a slug to roll up and like slime you up a whole bunch and then like leave you half eaten? Phrasing.
Ask you that. So you didn't know how long they'd been living there when this happened?
And I going to think they hadn't been there very long.
And tell me what you remember about that. Do you remember seeing them move in or anything?
No.
I never saw them. I never spoke with them. I was constantly fixing the other kids' bikes and helping the elderly. Just not
Never
this
that house.
I'm trying to remember. A friend of mine lived in that house. I can't remember what his damn name is, but he had a janitorial service, Janny King, and I'd visit with him. I helped him put the fence up around his house. Helped him.
I mean, you'll find it eventually, Brick. But that's what you get. Well, I know. I was going to say that's what you get for living where you live, but it's pretty green there. Australia and New Zealand are interchangeable, right?
In fact, his boy come up missing one day.
Really?
Yeah. He was like 7 or 8 or younger than that. And we went looking everywhere for him. We finally found him. He was under the bed.
Well, I guess, no one in the audience is getting laid, and I apologize for that. I don't know why I had to open old wounds, but here we are, guys. Like, get out there. Swipe left or right. Do one of them. Whichever one works.
Whatever one does the thing.
Swipe away. ugh.
Went to sleep, crawled underneath the bed. But I mean, everybody was freaking. We had Midwest City out there, and of course, you know, everybody in the neighborhood was out there looking. Me and him were, you know, going up street, you know, hollering his name, and then she calls, says, "Yeah, we found him. He's under the bed."
That's usually where we start. You learn that early on in FTO school. Check all the closets, check out in the boat, in the backyard, the shed, yeah. So you're saying this friend of yours lived
It's
at
a lot of work, though.
the house where Shannon and Kirsten lived?
Right.
Okay.
You ain't kidding.
And was that immediately before
One's
them,
enough.
or do you know? You remember?
Let me think. Back 17
I don't
years.
remember, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And I don't remember if after he moved out, if there had been somebody in that house before they did, or what. I don't remember.
You remember that guy's name? I know you said you didn't.
William was his first name.
Okay.
I don't remember what his last name was. That's been a while back.
It's been
And
a
you
long
said you helped
time.
put up the fence around the property, so we're talking about the stockade fence in the back?
Yeah.
Mhm. So you and William put that up?
Yeah. Plank at a time.
That's the old school way.
Yeah.
That's like if you had. How would you do it otherwise?
Right.
Right. Like a plank. You got two hands, right? You can pick up one. I get to like drive two cars at once. But like not again, but just to like point out some absurdity. Like if you built a fence with this dude and it was going so slowly that you're going to describe it a plank at a time. I mean, I don't even remember that dude's name. Like in some situations, I'll get that, right? Like the last company I worked for, I would walk past a business that sold pool tables and other bar type fixtures and video game shit. I talked to that dude 15, 20 minutes every day. Don't remember ever getting his name. Never asked for it because after a certain amount of time where you go, well,
Now it's just
now you know, whatever. So I would just go, hey man, but I didn't live next to him and I didn't build anything with him. If I had, like, if he was like, hey, let's build a pool table together, I would have go, hey, great, what's your name? Or something. And then I would hopefully remember it. But like, again, I didn't live next to the dude. We
Yeah.
never did anything more than just like say, yeah, work, right? It's a bitch.
You know,
Make it look
with
nice
stick,
that
with
way,
stick
though.
at the time, yeah.
Yeah, pool tables and pool table accessories like cues, balls, chalk.
propane.
I actually had to
Propane.
put it up twice.
I said, hey,
'cause we
bro.
had a storm
Hey, bro.
coming in and
Hey,
it moved
bro.
one
I
side
said, oh, brother.
right all the way back down. So we had to go put it back up. We got him to finally put the metal holes. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll make a fence last.
So had you ever been inside that house when that gentleman lived there, William?
Well, yeah.
Okay. And you don't recall his name, but he owned or worked for Jamie King?
I think he had a,
Franchise.
what do you call it? You
It's a
know,
franchise. It's a franchise.
Anyway, yeah.
That's okay.
Janitorial?
Yeah, it was a janitorial service, but you know, you can have a piece of that company, but you still be the company that you're your own boss. Franchise. There we go.
Bingo, we got there,
That's
people.
the correct.
Here we are.
So you never, I'm assuming you probably saw Shannon and Kirsten running around the neighborhood and so forth.
Never.
To tell you the truth, until that happened, I think I seen the kid one time. She was playing with Chris.
Unfucking believable story. And I'm not like, it's unbelievable. I mean, like, literally, I can't believe that story because it's a fucking lie. I've got neighbors, they've got kids. I see them all the fucking time because
Yeah.
that's what kids do. They go around and they play outside and they ride bikes and that sort of shit. I see all the kids all around me all the time because I go, get out of my fucking way, right? So you can't help but see them. So the fact that he's like, well, nope, never did. Like were they shut-ins?
Right.
Like they were white as a ghost because they were like putting foil on the windows. They couldn't like experience the sunlight. Everybody else you knew. Person 2 houses away. Never. Not that that can't happen. There are weird people in this world. But the stories of the other neighbors would discount this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Crystal that lived up the street. But I don't
Past
remember
that stage.
if it was in that time frame or what. I don't really know, because like I said, paid no attention.
Okay. Do you remember ever like giving food to Kirsten
Oh,
or
no.
talking to Kirsten?
No.
Was she
No,
ever
no,
at your
no, no, no,
house?
no.
Anything like
No.
that? Okay.
No.
So it was just the other starving children you
Yeah.
fed.
And do you
I'm
remember?
I'm actually a leery guy until, you know, people start coming around. You know, I'm not just, oh yeah, I want to be your friend, you know. No, not like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, I didn't have.
I heard that to the tune of Camptown Races. I have neighbors, they have kids. Do not see them all the fucking time.
Oh, dude, that
Two Baldy News Tag Team, a leery guy. Yeah, he's a very leery guy. Triple X leery situation.
Didn't pay attention to, you know,
I know, right, Rachel? It is strange.
who all was there or who they were, you know, things like that in my world just fall in place. You know, we accidentally meet. Oh, okay, yeah, now I know you, you know,
Right.
then, but no, never.
Do you ever recall helping Kirsten with her bike
No.
or anything? You don't
No.
remember any interactions with her at
No.
all?
No, I know there wasn't any interaction.
Sometimes you just have to do that, right? Like if it's Brick, I'm talking about
Oh.
what you're saying. Like if you don't have the energy to like put on a false face for someone that you knew in high school, 15, 20, whatever it is, years ago, I don't owe you anything, bitch. Like we're in a Fry's. Go get your food and let me get the fuck out of here.
Interactions. I didn't know them at all. And like I said, I don't even know how long they'd been living there until that happened.
Okay.
Because I was always, that was back when I was fishing. I'd Juicy come off of work, I'd load up my poles, go to Draper.
You just said that you
And
came
sometimes
home
I'd stay
and you
there
just
all night.
had supper.
But I'd always
But he was
have,
also
you know,
fishing and feeding the homeless and the hungry and fixing the old people's appliances.
second jobs, you know,
Busy.
after hour jobs, either landscaping or anything to make a buck.
Okay.
Weddings
I'm
are a
pretty sure
commitment
that
if you're not in the
Miller
mood.
talked to you this before,
Yeah.
but am I correct that you said you had never been over there mowing for Shannon or
No,
working on
never.
her property?
Never touched
or-
their grass.
Okay. Seems like that come up. Somebody thought you might have been mowing over there or something.
You know,
No,
'cause
he
again,
was-
remember, people also live in the neighborhood beside you, and they told us shit. Whatever. Like not again. I keep saying that, but I don't know if I've addressed this yet. This predates obviously like the proliferation of Ring door cameras, and like you basically get one free in every General Mills cereal box. But you have to keep in mind, like if you're in an active neighborhood, like there's always going to be a busybody or two or three who are constantly like peeking out, or like an HOA member or whatever. There's always going to be someone up in your shit in a neighborhood because people are nosy. And if they can find hot goss within spitting distance of their house, they're going to get it. But that's the thing. The nosy people don't turn it off when there's nothing to be interested in. They watch everything.
He was asking, it's about something about a handyman.
A
What
handy
he was asking me
J.
about.
Okay. Well, do you remember ever mowing over there or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
I never even turned my head in that direction. Every time I left my house, my head was always to the left, never to the right. I don't know. I just had like a crick in my neck every time I left. Couldn't look in that direction. What color was the house? I don't know. Never saw it.
While they lived there, do you remember ever being in the yard, the front or backyard for any reason? Okay. How about in the house?
Nope.
Right, good. So here's the thing. Back to like being semi-serious about this. Since they have the DNA in the house and on a piece of clothing in the backyard, that's what we are doing here. After we get through all the bullshit of like drinking water and having reflux disease and needing a nebulizer, right?
Yep.
Here we are. We're just asking one-off questions like, so you never been in that house? If you go like, if you sit them down, you automatically come out of the gate with like, so when were you or have you ever been in that house? They go, well, now that we're like sort of, chilling out, never been in there, never been in the backyard, never cut their grass. That's the back door into the situation, right? So like, never been over there doing a favor? Because most killers will put themselves at the scene, like Stephen McDaniels. Why, Stephen, he said.
Why?
He says, well, me and all of our friends, we got in there and I was looking around for it. So yeah, if you're at all interested in like planning ahead, the least you can do is place yourself at the scene, even though, yeah, it's probably the worst thing you can do. But if you know that they're going to find evidence and you know that you did it, you have to at least, I guess, try to be like, well, I walked around and my hair was there, Steven. Why? He said. Steven, put your hands up on the table. Look at me, y'all. You went up to run your mouth to the fucking news media. Am I going to tell our parents? You don't know. When you talk to the fucking news media. Eli and Kim.
Okay. So there was never any time that Shannon asked for your help to fix this or that or mow the yard for me or... Okay.
Yeah, he ruined all Steven's
Just tell you the truth, the only, and I didn't even recognize her when y'all showed me the pictures of her. That was the only time I could actually say, okay, that's, you know. I met her once afterwards. She was going up and down the street and, you know, she was still looking for her kid and, you know.
Hey, I was over there looking. I never mowed their lawn, but Eli and Kim, I think Eli's here illegally. Thanks, Anthony. I think we got that.
I met her once. I gave her some money so she'd have gas money so she could keep doing what she was doing. You know.
Was this like in the days
Steven
Yabo.
Let me bounce back a little bit. We got off a little bit off track. I was kind of having you go back over what you remembered through the night, and I read over the FBI notes that they took when they talked to you. I guess there was some information about you hearing dogs barking.
Yeah, I had a dog in the backyard. Dog, his name was Dog. About 3 or 4 o'clock.
Brilliant dude. I had a dog named Dog. I had, like, my best friend in junior high named his dog D-O-G. D-O-G. Pronounced it Diogenes. And I was stupid. So I go, oh, is that like a riff on Yoshi? Because, like, we were gamers back in the day. He goes, D-O-G. D-O-G.
O'clock in the morning, we went to raising hell. So I just, you know, believe it or not, in my neighborhood, we still got skunks and possums and stuff like that, plus other dogs, you know. So I don't know why that woke me up, but because I usually didn't wake up, and usually he's out inside anyway. But it woke me up, and he was barking at that back fence, at our back fence. But at the time, as you walk out my back door, I had an old apricot tree.
It sounded like he was barking at a murderer. I've heard him bark at squirrels and foxes, two totally different tones. This was different. I think he found the murderer. It's too bad he doesn't know English. But yeah, he was barking at someone that definitely wasn't me sneaking into the backyard of that poor victim that, again, who, where, what house?
So unless you went out there, you know, you couldn't see. And I just hollered at him because, you know, thinking there was another dog, because there was always, and traffic, there was human traffic back there. But
got a D-O-G.
Usually it was other dogs.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. There was other dogs or
My
cats. There was
D-O-G's
always
missing.
animals through there. So I just, you know, I really didn't think nothing about it. I just hollered at him and he came in and I went back to bed.
So you actually let him
Squirrel? That's the character from The Walking Dead, right? Squirrel!
back into the house. So you opened, your back door, I'm assuming, and let him in. Did you go
where else?
Investigate?
No.
Did you look down the alley?
No.
Anything like that?
No, because usually in the past, whenever I did, that's what it was, you know, either another dog or...
I saw so many raccoons. I said to myself, if I got to go out to my backyard and see another fucking raccoon, I'm going to go nuts. So I just let him go ape shit at the apricot tree.
People use that alleyway, you know, to get through. Why, I don't know, because, I mean, I don't know where you'd be going other than from house to house, but there was always, not always, but there was traffic.
Okay. And speaking of the alleyway, did you have any kind of a gate or anything that went out to it? So you didn't have access to it through your backyard?
I feel you there, Brick.
I mean, I think that'd be ideal.
Donald Morrison collection.
Be able to go out
They
and
pitted that shit out too. A few years ago, Weird Al had a cartoon show with Disney called Milo Murphy's Law, and Milo's dog was named Diogi. I'll be damned. Well, there you go. But again, I'm an old man, so this happened way before that. Way watered down.
in the alley.
10 dozen of them.
Thomas O'Mahony says,
The alley baloney.
Hey babies, y'all sounded sexy as fuck tonight. Anyway, I'm gonna dig into this meatball sub and y'all just do your show.
Oh, hell yeah. Hey, Mr. Colehep, your sub is here. Extra meatballs? You better believe it, my friend. We're best friends, Todd.
And you could back a trailer up, and it just seems like everybody had a gate.
Well, the house next door to me didn't have a fence. So whenever I weed eated or, did whatever, because I always weed eated, 2 foot around from my fence, next door, and then that alleyway, which the alleyway.
The least I could do is weed eat those lazy motherfuckers.
Because I read your
My
statement.
Jared.
You said you saw your gate ajar.
Hell yeah, this is before all the, maybe it was after the unpleasantness. And they just handed it off to him in the jail, and he was like, oops, special delivery.
Which gate was that?
Gate ajar.
Yeah. You didn't have a gate? On the
I thought it
back
was a gate,
or
not
on
a
the
jar.
side? Did you have a gate on the side of the house?
Yeah, we got a gate. Well, it's yeah, it's a gate, but no, it wasn't a jar.
Okay.
It is a thought-provoking question, Mr. Yabo. Past tense of weed eat, weed eated, weed ate, wade ate,
Wade aided?
wade aided, a wade aided. My yard. Oi, brother. I live next to an Englishman.
Oh,
What?
Anything else
Water.
that night after you
Water my
let the dog
yard.
back in?
2
Did
foot.
anything else occur that you remember?
No,
No,
I've never been there.
went back to
Never
bed.
looked at it.
Me and Doug.
Okay. And then when did you first become aware of Kirsten was missing and all that
Eating too many weeds.
that's going on?
Well, the next day there was all that activity, and I asked the neighbor across the street what was going on. They said they couldn't find Kirsten, and I didn't think nothing about it. I went to work, and then
Yeah, like if one of my neighbor's kids disappeared, I wouldn't think nothing about it. Like when a horrifying tragedy that everyone can relate to on some level or another happens, you go, I don't give a fuck. I'm a state employee. I've got to go wait aided.
I
smoked
don't remember if
weed
she
and
called me or I
Weed and
called
ate
over
it.
there or what, and they said they was wanting people back, because they wanted to go to our houses and blah, blah, blah. So clocked out and came back home.
Do you remember what time it was that you clocked out, came back home? Was this morning? Was this
It
afternoon?
was,
It was 17
Probably
fucking
mid-morning,
years
something like
ago.
Now, who was the friend that you were communicating with?
it was, and I don't
It's like shake and bake. This guy and his pal waited and aided.
know what her name is. Y'all showed me a picture of her.
Okay.
I think y'all showed me.
He is trying to get like Stiven levels of incline. The fat detective would be proud.
Yeah.
Picture of her. Anyway,
I still fucking love that meme where it shows him like flying his back. It kills me.
of her husband, Dawn.
Is this the Halseys, Tiffany Halsey and Don Halsey?
I
Or do you
guess,
know?
yeah.
Dr.
I'm not
Halsey of the
sure
Miskatonic University.
If Mr.
Dawn
Halsey
or
was
Don?
Dawn or Dawn? Guys, is it Dawn or was it their partner, Dawn?
Did you have
Well,
other?
somebody had called me, said they was.
He presents
they was-
himself as a
they-
pillar of the
that we were
community
going-
and is totally uninterested when
Yeah.
a child goes missing.
Isn't that confusing? He's willing to help literally anybody, but he's a leery guy. He's helping, feeding the hungry. He's like the Mother Teresa of like greasy Italian dudes. And yet,
wanted back at our house.
Okay.
So I came
tired and leery.
And then what happened?
I just
I'm amazed
sat
at
there.
how these guys apparently remember so
Did-
well, but can't
Any of
remember the
our
important
officers
stuff.
or the FBI?
Right? It's like the Nancy Brophy of it all, where like you remember everything except for the parts where you definitely killed your husband, but you couldn't think of a way around like being caught on camera. Like,
Yeah.
well, I paid cash because I keep it in my bra. Imagine being that sweaty $10 bill pressed up against one of Nancy Brophy's saggy tits. Jesus Christ. A worse fate than Dan.
FBI or anybody come by?
It was the FBI.
All
you
due
know.
respect.
Okay.
We came in, took statements, we, walked through the house and, wanted to go in the backyard and, because I had a shed back there. He wanted to look in the shed and
Okay. So he did look through the house and look through the shed?
Yeah.
You probably don't remember who that was, I'm sure.
No.
Okay. And was he just asking you general questions about Kirsten and did you know her, have you seen her, that kind of thing, or
basically.
did you write out a statement for him?
Oh, God. Yeah, we can
Oh,
only hope
yeah.
we run into one of Nancy Brophy's tit bills in our life. Like
Ugh.
1 in a million chance.
Second Tits mentioned 1 hour in and inching closer to gist time every minute now.
Oh, hell yeah. The clock is ticking. You can't see it, but it's off because it's off camera, but gist time is counting down.
Or did he,
No,
was it
he
just
brought
a
up-
conversation?
Thought he brought up a statement.
Okay.
But he asked me if he'd come in, he wanted, asked me what I knew, but at the time really wasn't anything. He
Still
wanted to-
shouldn't be.
He said they was going through canvassing the neighborhood and,
Yeah.
asking everybody and,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's it.
17
Can I
years
go?
ago, Tony, were you experimenting with any drugs?
No.
Never did.
No.
don't like that
I
term.
drink beer.
That's it.
Drugs do something you expect, right? That's why people take them. Like, you don't experiment with roller coasters because you think you might like a thrill. Like, you're doing it for the end goal. Were you experimenting with drugs? Yeah, I didn't know how cocaine would make me feel, so I snorted a huge line. I wanted to party all night, or I wanted to rock and roll all night and party every day. So I did a bunch of Molly, right? Because I was like, what'll happen? What'll happen? It's well documented.
Just drank.
I drink beer.
Got a bunch of
As far
burnouts
as
in the
drugs go.
chat.
Was Kirsten ever one of the kids that you had seen, or was there any talk in the neighborhood about her being mistreated or abused or in need?
No,
or
because like I
anything?
said, I had no inkling that they even existed until after that.
But he will later say that the mom was on methamphetamine. So that's kind of an about face. Spoiler alert.
Until
I didn't
after
know,
that,
yeah.
You had never seen her or anything?
Maybe
like that?
once or twice and didn't think nothing about it, just another kid.
Yeah.
Just another kid. Yeah.
Speaking of 17 years ago, who all was living there at your house back then?
Just me.
Okay, so you lived alone. Do you recall, were you dating anybody?
It's
did you have
his
a
Eli and
girlfriend?
Kim, yeah.
But Sarah knew Eli and Kim. Like, she pointed them out. Like, this is the opposite. It's the anti-Eli and Kim. She's like, there are two people there. I don't know who either of them are. Who?
But one is on meth.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
Some of you were off and on
Okay.
years.
I bet for those of us who enjoy a little crime and justice fare, we would be terrible murderers because we wouldn't know to be totally disinterested, detached, or too involved trying to throw off the cops.
Right? That's the problem. Because, I don't know. Think of it like this. There are, like, sports players, like people who play football and people who play fantasy football. My gut tells me that the dudes playing football don't know the stats of any other player. They're just looking to get the ball across the field and make millions of dollars,
Right.
hypothetically. Whereas, like, the dude who, like, has $20 riding on his fantasy team knows all of his favorite player stats and this and that and the other. But probably couldn't play football if put in the situation, like,
Right.
professionally, because, like, whatever. But yeah, that's where we are. Like, you don't... Someone in true crime, which I think we saw that with Brophy, honestly. I think we saw that because she tried to craft a narrative, but you can't fill gaps where you're murdering someone with something that you cannot prove.
Right.
But again, that's why you would be like, anytime, if I ever get called into an interrogation room and they read me my rights, even if I know, again, this is your right as a fucking American or wherever you are, I don't care where you are, even in Canada, lets you talk to a lawyer, half native probably knows, you take that advantage or that offer, you know what I mean? Don't talk yourself into something because you can. Like, how many people have falsely confessed due to coercion or this, that, or the other, simply because they were, like, tired or dim-witted or didn't know what they were saying or like to engage in hyperbole? Don't get behind that 8 ball. But if you're guilty, you definitely won't because you want to play your hand out slowly to see if this game you can sort of weasel your way around. Because if you are guilty, you want to know what the cops know. And by lawyering up, they won't tell you. They won't feed you anything after you've asked all the questions that prove you're a liar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brick says, one fear of mine is being interrogated like this and being single, living alone, and have the memory of a goldfish.
Right?
Yeah.
But just remember lawyer. If someone says, hey, where were you 17 years ago? And we already read you your rights, go lawyer, 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 lawyer. because
Then tell the lawyer I don't remember
because
anything.
it'll collapse the waveform. If they think it's you and they know it's you because they have evidence, they'll go, okay, stand up and turn around. Then you go, okay, well, whatever. At least I save myself between 1 and 7 hours of getting reamed by a dude and a lady, or 2 dudes or 2 ladies, or detectives in general, and feeling like shit the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you're guilty, just save yourself the hassle. But then again, if people did that, what would this show be?
Right.
For years. And you said that was Melody Howell, right? Yes. And that's what's her...
So, Rachel, I mean, obviously, if you're in true crime, you have to just imagine yourself being interrogated for a crime you didn't commit at some point. Because you, like, if you have an imagination, you're going to be like, oh, what if I got pulled in? Because we've seen that happen before. I realize I'm stopping a lot, and I apologize. But, like, the one guy, I can't remember his name, but, like, they basically did everything they were doing to Tony here, or eventually will do, where they go, we've got video, we got this, and we got that. And the dude's face lights up because, well, good.
Yeah.
Then you know who did it, because I didn't. Like, they don't go, well, we've got your DNA, and they go, I don't know how it got there. Well, you have to explain it, or you're going to court and you're going to jail for the prison for the rest of your life. And you go, I can't. You get excited when they say they have something that you aren't a part of.
Yeah.
You flat out deny reality if the inverse is true.
Right.
What's her daughter's name?
Tristy. She's got 2 daughters, Tristy and Robin.
Tristy?
Mm-hmm.
T-R-I-S-T-Y?
S-T. Robin.
And Robin?
Robin.
Yeah, it happens,
Did you
Brick.
say
It happens all the
STI?
time.
Or Y? Okay. Do you know what Tristy and Robin's last names are?
I don't know if it seems inevitable.
Tristy's was Howell at the time. Robin was married, I think, at the time.
So she was going for something different. Would Melody come stay the night with you sometime?
Oh.
That kind of thing? Okay. But she didn't live there full time?
No. But she's, like I said, she passed away about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. That's not good.
That's not good. That's not good at all. That's another card in the deck, right? But it's played very sloppily. The sympathy card, like you tried playing the I'm a state employee card, and that went over like a lead balloon. But everybody's had someone who died in their life, so like let's really lean into that. I don't know. Yeah, it never helps, Thomas. Yes, it never helps because the things can and will be used against you. You're the 7-Eleven last night's a sleepy clerk. Yeah, that's the thing. You can, if you look like somebody else, you're going to jail. Like there are so many things that could go wrong and will go wrong if, like, the person in charge of your or the case that you have been entangled with, like, is just looking for a fast way out. I realize that every interrogation, all the detectives go, I don't want what I want to hear. I want the truth. What do you think the percentage of people who actually mean that is?
Mm-hmm.
As far as other people you hung out with back then, do you have any good friends or anybody that you associated with in the neighborhood? Or
Oh, in the neighborhood?
Well, I guess the guy whose name I couldn't remember, we were pretty close.
Okay, how about out? I mean, just generally, like, who were your friends, best you can recall back then?
Basically just people that I worked with.
Okay. Up there at the Capitol?
Right.
No long lost pal from school or anything?
No.
I guess.
Yeah, Rachel, you've been pushed, you've been framed so far that you are now on the stand, and you went ahead and decided to take the stand in your own defense. Stupidest plan ever. Rachel, what are you thinking? Cross-examination is brutal.
Next, she's gonna go pro se.
Get a lawyer.
I guess you moved off from New Mexico and left them there, didn't you?
I'm not
You should
the
proceed.
kind that goes to a bar. You know, if I'm not drink, I drink at home.
And I
I mean,
do,
I know
believe you
I've
me.
met a lot of people, but
So you would drink some, but didn't experiment with drugs, didn't do marijuana, anything?
no.
Do you blaze?
Did they drug test back in them days? At your work?
Huh?
Well, they always hung that over on us, you know, but we never had got UA.
Okay.
as a construction worker for a decent chunk of my working life, I had to go and piss in so many cups.
Really?
The only place I was expected to piss was in the trades. I've worked in the medical industry, I've worked in retail and beyond, food service, lots of things. The only time I was made to piss in a cup multiple times over multiple years and through multiple companies was when I was in the trades.
Huh.
And everybody there was on shit. I don't understand. Because everybody I worked with was on coke or speed or meth or whatever. The best helper I ever had was constantly on speed, and it was only then that he was helpful. Sure, stupid as hell, but he had the energy to get shit done, and I had the patience to ask for the right things.
Would it be random?
No, like it would. When you got hired, you typically get one, and or if you went to a site that required it. So, for example, like
Intel.
Yeah, I had to go to the Intel campus out here, which was in Chandler or wherever. And they go, everybody goes out to Intel has to get UA'd. And the guy who I knew blazed showed up, and I go, how is he going to do this? Well, he brought a bag of piss in his pants.
Yep.
And not only do they test for drugs, but they test for temperature. And so as soon as he poured the bag of piss from his pocket into the thing, they go, this isn't hot enough. And he never came back.
Yeah.
But only when I was paid the least and expected to do the hardest work was I tested for drugs. Not when I worked around money, food, and beyond. It's insane.
So it was kind of
Thomas says we only had to piss in cups in the army, and they stared at your dick the whole time. It really made me feel like they
that's
didn't
no
trust
joke.
me.
That is no joke. So the place I had to go to 9 times out of 10 when I was getting piss tested, there was 2 bathrooms, and in the middle was like a room, like a little alcove that had like a computer and like all the cups and shit. And at dick level was a 6x6 window with the tiniest like. They must have been special ordered because like blinds that you'd have for like a normal size window, this big, and they go, and I would see a dude's face, eyes bugged, staring at my dick, and I go,
hey,
because that's the thing, they don't want someone pouring a bag of piss anywhere, but like. So many people saw my dick. I just had to console myself that they saw so many dicks, they probably couldn't pick mine out of a lineup if they had to. But a lot of people saw my penis when I worked in the trades. Not for recreational purposes.
You ever had any trouble with the law?
Yeah, imagine getting, like, it's not only getting watched, Brick, because, like, it's like not someone behind you staring you down waiting for the urinal. It's someone dick height, eyes wide, staring directly at your penis. Or vagina if you're a lady, I imagine. But how would they see that from the window?
They wouldn't be able to do that.
Years ago, first-degree burglary and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. I think
That's terrible. It's a terrible time to be alive.
Really?
Doing drug testing.
Back when I was a dumb kid.
How long ago was that?
Mr. Yabo says, I like smoking weed, so if I worked in the trades in the land of the free, I guess I'd have to bring a false dick. Be on demand.
Only if you work at certain places. Like, some places you can go, they don't piss test you. But, like, I don't understand, man. Like, I never did anything that would get caught in a piss test, obviously, because I was an electrician for like 10 years and never got kicked off any job sites. But it would just blow my mind because I'd be working next to dudes who were like blitzed out of their mind or would like sometimes just do it right in front of you because like who gives a fuck? And I said, how did you get here?
Ryan says, when I was at Walgreens, we had just made the switch to the oral swab drug tests. I had to administrate them in the office with another manager watched. Only took about 15 minutes. Huh.
Weird.
They don't do that. Like at my place, you have to pee in the cup still.
Yeah, because I feel like the swab would be like less of like whatever. I've never even seen the swab test. I don't know.
When I got out of Job Corps, they found me a job.
Damn, well, you be around that much yogurt? I want to clean and sober.
Actually, I was training for auto mechanic, but they found me a job as a diesel.
Right, but that's the thing. Like Mr. Yabo is right. It can stay in your system for up to 2 weeks. But that's the thing. If they find it, they like the seal is broken.
Yeah.
They go, well, I don't care if you like 2 weeks ago. You're going to a job now, and you came up positive. Like there's very little room for error in a bureaucracy where they go, well, it's yes or no, and your piss was too cold.
Diesel mechanic and the counselor
Rick
at
says we
Job
were
Corps,
supposed
he
to
made
have
some deal with the
roadside
government that-
mouth swabs for meth and weed, but the new government said they weren't reliable enough to in court at
I'd
this
believe
point.
It was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it was.
It does feel like the kind of thing that like a company would accept as like plausible.
Yeah.
But like it's bizarre because like, you know, polygraph tests aren't admissible because they're junk science, but they still do them for some reason. It's like, hey, you want us to shove a pipe cleaner up your dick? It won't help you in any way, but it also could only stand to hurt you. Would you like one? No.
Oh,
I'm
please.
surprised that diesel, you didn't stay with that. Those diesel
Oh, so
mechanics
like
make
that
some
that
money.
swab thing, you suck on
Yeah,
it like a
but
lollipop and stuff, and
it's hard
it turns different colors for different drugs.
Thought this was America.
Yeah, some of them parts weigh heads for.
Okay, so P.S. I've been talking over it, but they're talking about like what he did for a living, and yada yada yada. He was a diesel mechanic, and like, well, it made good money, and why did he get out of it? And he says the part's too heavy, and yeah, it was too hard to work, which is kind of why I got out of the trades. Not to tie it back together, but like here out in Arizona, when you're in the shell of a building and it's 125 in there, I didn't want to turn into like a leathery muppet at the end of my life. So after like, you know, a little while, I got out of it to save my skin, literally.
One of the versatiles was probably 200 pounds, and you got a tire about that high, and you got to get it up on that, and get it, you know, on the block, and then you're torquing stuff at
absolutely
240 foot-pounds, you know, laying on your back, and it's hard.
In the last 17 years,
You
Tony,
got to lay down.
have
Rough.
you changed much? Is this how you were 17 years ago? Just a hard-working man?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Here we go. Starting with the reframing. They got all the lies out. Where you never been there, yada yada yada. We got stuff that proves it. We're not going to tell you till later. But now they're starting to chip away at the facade of I didn't do shit. Where you go, well, you know, in 17 years, you sure can change a lot. That's how they soften. It's one of the many techniques of like, it's been a long time, and or were you defending yourself, and or did something just go wrong? Like, the guy who put his wife in a vat of acid is like, yeah, did you panic? Yeah, if I panicked and accidentally hit Krista over the head with a frying pan, first thing I would do is find a 55-gallon drum of sulfuric acid and turn it into soup because I panicked. Whoops. Bloop.
Just a hard-working man.
It's a hard luck woman.
No.
Maybe you can find your
I'm
man.
not the same person I was 17 years ago. I've matured a little bit. And
I wish I could say
Lost a
that.
little hair.
life changes people, you know. As you get older, you start recognizing things that you could handle differently than what you. If you had it to do over again, you'd change. You know, I can truly
Yeah,
say
that's the
that.
thing.
17 years, I'm past that stage.
We can't ever change it.
Yeah, no, you can't change what happened, but sometimes you can make things better. I remember a few years ago, I went to my high school reunion.
Touching
and
personal
I seen
story.
a kid that, honestly, I just tormented to death. I made his.
You know, when these guys get into the minutia of their work, 220 pounds of steel iron shed reeling, you gotta haul 3 chick blocks up the hard work rail. I just wanted to look up, CL, did you do it or not?
Right. Yeah, but that's what you want out of every interrogation. You want what we can only typically find in the court on cross-examination when Rachel is up on the stand, right? Once you get Rachel up there, you do the cross-examination because you can yell and scream. If the defense attorney's a pussy, you can scream your fucking head off. I've seen it happen a million times. But like very few detectives, unless they have pro se, to get up on the stand, do pro se, do everything Rachel does. Don't do what Donnie don't does. But yeah, you're just... You want vindication, but I think if we did get that more often than not, we would feel less fulfilled. We've been so ingrained in storytelling and having a 3-act structure and having compelling characters on all sides. I think if we did get more confessions that are like, "Did you do it?" And they're like shaking them, and they go,
This is a nightmare.
and they just go, "Yeah, I did it." At first, it would be cathartic, but I think it would wear thin very quickly because, at least for me, I like this interpersonal cat and mouse play, this communication that is not just verbal, but like this delicate dance that, again, will just collapse when they go, "Well, P.S., we got your fucking DNA, bitch."
I was able to find him and
Make amends of
I
them.
make amends and apologize.
After
and
that
tell him
cig
I-
break, brother. Yeah, sometimes you just need a good cig break. I can't tell you how many people confessed during their cigarette breaks. It's incredible.
You know, that I was immature at the time and asked for his forgiveness, and you know,
He was
I
a
think
bully,
by
P.S.
the end of
Kind of missed it. Cop was a bully. Came to the reunion, said sorry about that shit. Cool.
he actually remembered some of the things I'd done, and we talked about it, and
Yeah, as a victim of bullying myself, I remember all the shit that got done to me when I was bullied. Then I developed confidence and that fucking shit stopped. But before that, I definitely remember all the things that happened.
felt a lot better, and I think he felt better at the end. I know I did when he said,
Does he think he's
Yes,
going home?
He does
Yeah.
think he's going home because he's here voluntarily. They're again because they opened the case again in 2024. He knows they've collected his buccal swab or buccal swab, buccal, and so he knows for 100% that they are at least suspicious. But he definitely thinks he's going home because he showed up himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're bullied, you fucking remember. If you murder someone, I have no first-hand knowledge, but I feel like if I did, I'd remember that shit. Trauma makes memories. Any strong emotion will make a memory.
he gave me some very mature back then, and you know,
You were called Maxi Pad and Oreo because of my Chris Hansen voice. Right, because remember, canonically, Maxwell is black. So if you are... White people have a real problem. Not problem necessarily, but... Maybe like for racist losers, it feels like the uncanny valley because if somebody doesn't meet your stereotypical headcanon, you go, ugh. But like, I don't know, man. I had a bunch of black friends and girlfriends growing up. I never like, if they talked like street or white, I never like called attention to it because we were friends.
Yeah.
It's good for your self-respect, too.
it is to get
I
it
think they should call you Mr. Thompson. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Just smile and nod.
out. And I tell you what, the weight, and I don't know why I got
Listen, we all made mistakes in our lives. I was rude to a Poindexter in biolab. You murdered 7 children and kept their noses in your fanny pack. Now,
Yeah, we all make
but we all mature.
Yeah.
We make amends and get
It was
better.
just a mistake. You did an accident.
God had put on me a burden of guilt.
God put that on my
I don't want
heart.
to use the word guilt, but I really felt like after I did that, I had a new outlook, and because I picked
Praise
on
the
him, but
Lord.
I also got
This is like finding Jesus after you murder someone, right? Like if you were a total bully and a dickhead in high school, yeah, it's great that now as an adult you realize you were a shithead, but like if you made someone's entire school career shitty, like it's very little effect. Like the ointment you're putting on this burn, it's already scar tissue. Like what are we doing here?
to every kid's
Lord.
dentist, and it helped me deal with my tormentors and forgiving them, and realizing, because I came from a poor family, I was white trash.
Guys, buckle up for more personal anecdotes. I love them. PF Flyers are about to make their grand debut, and I think we're all going to enjoy it as much as I do.
Lived in a trailer park, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have the nice clothes, and I had 2 pairs of blue jeans
Levi's.
and PF Flyers.
Blue
Remember
Here
we
PF
go.
Flyers?
PF
Because I
Flyers.
was really lucky I got some, but point
Was that
being,
shoes or jeans?
no, PF Flyers.
What are those shoes? What do you got over there? Shoes? Let's take a break. What are those shoes? I had Chuck Taylor's. No art support. Jesus Christ.
Flyers were black and white tennis shoes. They were the first ones that you ran, that you could run really fast.
Well, when I moved to California, my problem was whenever growing up, I had crooked feet.
Right.
And the only thing that would fix that was cowboy boots.
Right.
If this were LA Noire, I'd be hitting that doubt button. Like if you're pigeon-toed or what's the opposite of pigeon-toed?
Like duck feet.
Duck feet, like you have a splay in your walk. I don't know how cowboy boots would fix that. But again, and I'm not a doctor in whatever, the 50s when this motherfucker was growing up.
50s.
So when I moved to
Rick says, I was bullied
Delano,
and also
California,
joined in
I
bullying a
was
girl
a
to
kid.
fit in, and I have always felt so bad about it. We were only 10, but it stays with me.
Right. Even if you were bullied, you probably took the opportunity to kick down because everybody does that. You kick down to what you think you can get away with and acceptable. I've done it. Like, I don't feel good about it. I didn't do it a lot, but I remember definite times when I was like railing against someone and not in like a fun, like locker room style, like most dudes like bust each other's shit sort of way. Yeah, I don't like it. I carry those memories as with as much weight as when I was bullied, because like if you're honest with yourself and you have any self-awareness, like making someone else feel shitty doesn't necessarily change anything about you. You still feel shitty. It's just you're joining or you're having someone join your shitty party.
Right.
A kid in my school had cowboy boots.
I imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't
They all
fun.
had sandals and
Tennis shoes.
and all that.
They all had
But,
tennis shoes,
you know,
not
I-
PF flyers.
I felt very fortunate to be able to, that he was at this reunion, and, you know, we were a small class. There was only about 50 of us, so we all knew each other, and, you know, he was dirt poor like me, and which made it even worse. You know, I should have been picking on the
rich kid.
on the rich kid, but I didn't. The point being that I really felt a lot better about it, and even now after, I mean, that was my 25th high school reunion.
Resolution.
That I was able to do that.
He still picks on me though, so he really hadn't changed.
Mostly on account of the murders. Yeah, most of my graduating class was murdered by a spree killer. Hey, hopefully we'll solve the case one day. That's why I became a cop. We'll see what happens.
But see,
Once a bully, always a bully.
but see, he
Yum yum neck.
like
He asked for it.
Oh no. Yeah, that's the thing. Being bullied will produce as strong of memories as when you were bullied. Because if you're self-aware and you're like a mature adult, you'll look back and you go, oh, God damn, I was fucked. And you hope that the people who bullied you do that in at least some form or fashion. But I don't know, man. Like the people, like if you have a definite memory of like bullying kids and you go, I regret that, you're probably not someone who bullied all the time. You were just in a situation where you were taking shit out. Not that necessarily, because I've done it too, not that necessarily is an excuse for that, but like I can't, like the dude who like bullied me in my 7th and 8th grade year, I don't think he looks back and can point out any single instance where he bullied me because it was a fucking daily event. Whatever.
next week he's gone fishing. The week before he was gone fishing.
You get to go fishing
Yeah.
for a week?
Don't
I call it
discourage him,
vacation.
because when he's gone, I
Do whatever you want to.
it's all right.
It's my
Yeah, see, I'm 56 and he's 58, so he's got seniority. So when he goes away, it's like when your big brother goes away to college. You can live free and die hard. Only when he fishes can I really stretch out my feet in cowboy boots.
Therapy. It's all right.
Yeah, actually, it is therapy. It's
In
very
his
good therapy.
console, yeah.
It is.
I got my fishing gear, my fishing license in my console.
Unlike you, I work. I mean, that's all I ever known was to work. But now my wife doesn't understand that working is therapy too, especially.
Well, I've always suffered from depression back when I was a young kid. So, and
Depression.
that always seems like
Just going
working, I guess, gets your mind off of whatever it is you're thinking about, or, whatever. So that's all I do is work.
Man, that's so astute. I remember bullying this guy in my youth, and a bigger kid beat me up for doing it, and I was like, oh my God, is that how that feels? What's wrong with me? And immediately treated that.
I mean, I see where the story is going. but
Right.
yeah, you, and thank God, if you don't have memories of that sort of shit and regret attached to that, you're probably still a shitty person. The fact that everybody here like can acknowledge and realize the issue at hand means you're all like pretty well developed adults, I assume. I would hope. You know, I'm not going to check your ID, but like it just feels like if you were a professional asshole, you're probably not looking back and going like, oh, I can't believe I did that. You're still just walking through life with asshole blinders on.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of accomplishment too. That's one thing we really.
Especially when your folks tell you that.
I don't know if I would thank every day for that, but I mean, it would definitely be a pivotal point in the
shit, you'll never amount to hill of beans and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Yeah,
I know.
Showed you.
Classic hill of beans.
Still not out.
Is that how you grew up in a tough environment like that?
That's a shame. I remember my dad.
So I'm not a body position analyst or body whatever sort of person, but you can definitely see where like he's finally opening up a little bit.
Yeah.
He was spending so much time facing the table and just turning his head because he didn't want to commit wholly. Like finally the Reed technique has worked. He is willing to expose his genitals to other men, which is a sign of trust. If you're a man, you know. I don't know about ladies exposing their genitals in
They don't do that.
culturally significant situations, but like if you're a dude, you're willing to turn your body and open your legs wide. You go, yeah, I trust these.
Look
dudes.
at me. I'm in human resources now. I have to be nice to people and rational, use emotional intelligence. I had to smart and
Smart
AWP.
knob.
Oh, smart knob.
Smart knob.
Got it.
Not a body guy, believe it or not. But yeah, believe it or not, not a body type of guy.
Hello, Rod.
Dad, I wrestled and went to state, and Dad never saw me wrestle. You know, and I asked him about it one day. And
Why didn't you ever see me
bothered
wrestle, Dad?
For years. And he goes,
Wrestling.
well, I never discouraged you from doing it.
When that hit you.
And he goes, my dad would, because down there on the farm, Pa, he was a rough man. You know, he would browbeat those boys. So Dad has progressed to, he's better than his father. Hopefully I'm better than my father
Which
was.
is what
as
we
far
all
as
shoot
encouraging.
for.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
telling you that he didn't discourage you. You know.
Yeah, right, Maxwell. You just need to crack open a 6-pack of Coors. And where are those meatball subs? We ordered them like 20 minutes ago. Is like Grubhub just like phoning it in now?
Because what for? You ain't never going
Brick says, I remember standing up to a bully at high school, got cornered in an empty hallway, and he demanded a bite of my pie.
Shepherd's pie?
I just heard "nah" come out of my mouth and panicked, thinking this was it. I stood up for a girl when I was in, I think it was 8th grade or 9th grade. I stood up for my friend, and I was the one who got punched in the face, and then on the ground, and the girl got suspended.
Yeah,
But that hurt.
Right, but and that's the thing. Like, when you're in this situation, whether it's Tony here or whatever, like, because here with the benefit of hindsight, you can go, well, everything turned out okay, and like now I have remorse and yada yada yada. But like, there are some situations that you just can't get out of because X, Y, Z, and you walk away with these things, and that's what, like. You can count yourself extremely lucky if you can sit here comfortably watching something on YouTube and say, well, I did this and that and I feel bad, but also this happened to me. Thank God you're able to say that to me and to everybody else here. Like, this poor 8-year-old doesn't have that. Like, the entanglements of children can be devastating. However, having an adult like rip away your entire life is ultimately infuriating. And you know, as many times as we've seen this, and like before I was a father, I still felt this way, and it's only intensified afterwards. Like, I can see myself being Kevin Bacon in that revenge movie where, like, if somebody, God forbid, does something along these lines, I can see myself becoming a Thomas Jane type Punisher, living in a $200 a month, like, shithole and just planning revenge.
Yeah.
But again, that's like Rachel when she's up on the stand being cross-examined. It's just a thought experiment and the extreme you would hope you would take. At most, I would probably be one of those dads who's like, don't ever get out of jail because I'll fucking kill you, but secretly hoping, like Anthony here, you just get taken out by your cellie.
Yeah.
But that's the complexities of just being a human. There's always something to be thankful for and to learn from, unless this happens. And, thank God we're all here to experience it.
You ain't gonna be worth a damn. Yeah, blah, 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 don't.
That's wrong.
Been there, done that,
And that affects you.
Yeah.
I mean, that stays with you for life. I'm always on my boy because my grandson's the greatest thing that walks the face of the earth. And I'm always on him, hey, you're too hard on that boy, you're too hard on that boy.
I just want to get my tip of the tip.
Tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg.
It's the tippity tip top.
Boy, you're too hard on him. And so hopefully he's a better father than I am.
Just the tip.
He is. So, but I was very fortunate to get some things off my chest over the years, and as I get older, my dad has even talked to me about things that he has.
Right. It's not unmanly to like talk about your feelings. Like just being a closed-in asshole doesn't work either. I don't know. There's got to be a middle ground.
Wish it be done,
Yeah, I think everybody has.
Same, Rachel. Like I've too many instances to recount where I just say something off like the top of my head, but that's what happens. You just have to sort of deal with it and realize nobody is going to be like 100% like positive in your mind at all times. Everybody talks a little shit about even the people they love. You just sort of have to accept it. Like I realize that people talk shit about me. I have no proof of it. I just know as a human, as I talk shit and hear other people talk shit, I go, people are definitely talking shit about me. I'll grant that. People need to do that to decompress. The people you love, if you weren't allowed to criticize them, it would be hell on earth. Like, you have a favorite show, right? I bet you criticize it a little bit, but it doesn't make you love it any less. Huh? Lady. Oh, don't freeze on me now, bitch. Well, there you go. Bitch. Show's over, guys. It died. Hold on. Well, oh, no! It's all the way down.
While you're doing that, I'll talk about a nice moment today about bullying. Now that we're on the subject, so
you were bullied today nicely.
Yes. So our son he's in kindergarten. And I got a message from one of his friends' moms today because they literally just had a talk today with some guy coming in to talk about bullying, and this other kindergartner punched Elliot's friend in the stomach, and I guess the kid was super upset and stuff, and told his mom that his friend Elliot stood up for him. God knows what he did.
I mean, in kindergarten, what can you do? Like, I've been in that situation too, where like, I don't know, it was a school fair type situation, and the two bullies in the same grade, just in a different class, like literally chased us all around this place. It was dark. I couldn't find my parents. And I was like, literally, me and my friend at the time were running for our fucking lives because it felt like these two dudes were straight up going to kill us. And I'd been in karate for a few years at that point. So finally I say, enough is enough. This is fucked. And I, get in my stance. I go, it's now or never. It's fight or flight. I've been flying. It's now time to fight. And you'll never know how you're going to react in a situation, because once I got ready to go, I realized not even in self-defense could I kick or punch someone. So as soon as I got ready to go, just ran again.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want... I'm not a violent person. As much as I feel in my head it would be cathartic to punch a dude I hate in the face, couldn't bring myself to do it. Anyway, here we go.
Get some things off my chest over the years, and as I get older.
Yeah, Elliot don't take shit.
In all reality, he probably just said, "Hey, that wasn't kind."
Yeah.
And that was probably it, and asked if Cal was okay.
Yeah, my kid just nosy and was like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Like, there's no way to tell.
He probably gave his friend a hug, and
my dad has even talked to me about things that he has wished he had redone, you know.
Yeah, I think everybody has. The only thing that really, and that's you're probably getting completely off the deal, but when I left Walters, when I got in trouble.
Right, like that's I grew up in the same era as the rest of you, ideally. I mean, if we're all old people here, you
Cool.
get to you in a second, Ryan. But like if you lived through that time in the 80s, it was like violence is not the answer. And there's a happy medium. It's not like sock anybody who looks at you funny, because like respect is respect and there's respect amongst scumbags. But it's not like don't ever hit, because if you drill that in, like hitting is always unacceptable, then later down the road where you go, unless XYZ criteria is met, it's impossible to break that cycle, at least for me. Because even when in a situation where I thought now is a perfect, like the ideal parameters of defending myself, couldn't do it because I was like, can't do the violence.
Right. This is horrific. Ryan says, Elliot announced, "This is a nightmare."
This is a nightmare.
And had a big reaction. So proud of him.
You don't have Riz.
He's
Kid
got
didn't
Riz.
have Riz. Elliot has Riz.
Elliot has Riz. And Rachel, thanks. Yeah, Elliot is named after Elliot Stabler from SVU.
Yeah, of course he is. Hello, guys. True crime people and your kid's named Elliot? You got to know SVU.
Walters.
Rod got
I
thrown out of
was going
daycare
out
at
with an
age
angel.
5 for beating a kid with a plastic phone that he kept stealing from mildly handicapped twin sister.
That's the thing. Like, if you're standing up for someone else, it can't all be that 80s very special episode of something where like it gets uncovered at the end. Because I remember doing a lot of things I felt morally justified in doing because I was defending someone or whatever. Like in the moment, I felt this is the right thing to do. But then doubling down on never use violence, like taking shit for the times that I did finally snap, and they go, don't do that. And I go, but I had justification. They go, I don't give a single fuck. Unless you're 4.5 foot or taller, we don't give a fuck about what you have to say.
Right.
So I try to give my kid the benefit of the doubt instead of just being like, no, because I said so, and fuck that shit. Can't do it.
The answer is yes, Ryan. If we had a girl, she would have been Olivia.
There's Elliot or Olivia.
Yep. Mr. Yabo says, I loved elementary school in the early 90s when bullies would beat on me and then we would both get sent to the same detention for fighting.
Right? What a time to be alive. Like, because I was in the same situation, right? Like, I never got into fights because I didn't want to, because I knew what would happen to both of us. But I remember seeing friends of mine and acquaintances get into fights, and they both get thrown in despite the fact one got their ass totally stomped and the other one did the stomping, and they go, well, break it up, you two, shake hands. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
He's the aggressor.
I mean,
Good woman, huh?
Oh, exactly.
my
Updated.
biggest mistake.
I mean, Mr. Yabo.
Change your name to
Yeah,
Mr.
but-
Yabo.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can really say that I fussed up.
Lose your temper.
Well, yeah, that's basically what had happened. You know, he was picking
So
up.
he's talking about an ex-girlfriend. Someone was hassling her, and like he got angry or whatever. That's the only thing he regrets. The murder, I think, would be ahead of this. But
Right.
Again, we're denying that.
On her, and I had, like a dumb kid, had to go do something about it. You know.
Well, not necessarily a dumb kid. Sometimes men got to do.
Well, now you know there's other ways of doing stuff, but and of course I've been drinking.
Right. That's not the best decision-making
No.
process. Conducive to great decision-making, believe me. I was telling my partner as we was driving out to your work that I was 16 years old and we had cut school, and back then that's where we...
These cops are so
Dirty
boring.
Bird.
Dirty Bird.
Do
And
you ever lose any jewelry after?
no, but
Oh, here's another great tangent. Oh my God. But even though they are very boring, not technically, by all intents and purposes, like this is on the shorter side of interrogation.
Sure.
Because it's only an hour and a half. I realize we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes and covered 30 minutes of real-time interrogation footage. But typically, you don't see things this quickly because at some point, like that bridge is crossed. I think it's usually around the 90-minute mark or thereabouts where they go, okay, we're either getting it or we're not.
Yeah.
And if we don't, we're stopping. But if we think we can, we'll go to 6 hours.
Cool.
Bonding stream.
Yeah, enjoy it. Like, this is come together, explain yourself in the best way you can, because everybody is just like you. We're all humans, and thank God we're not all monsters.
Yeah.
With a caveat. I mean,
Caveat.
we've all been and bullied other people. Thank God we're all here being like, oh yeah, thank God we're not still monsters. Like, no one's here going like rooting for Anthony, right?
But I put my Mustang in the ditch out there, and I shouldn't have.
With the
I
caveat.
tried to
I was
hide it.
telling them I've probably found 200 gold rings since I've been out there.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Do they wash up on the bank with current and waves, or do you think they get lost there?
Well, they get lost and then they get covered up.
That's another thing I hope I don't find in my old age is like the hobby of owning a metal detector and wandering around looking for people's lost shit.
Right.
Because of the wave action, and then the wave action uncovers it again, and then you have to be at the right time at the right place.
Yeah.
So every
The
time,
right time at the
after
right place.
the wind's blowing, I check my
Typically the beach, the right time being literally any time because there are always people at the beach.
Just trying to
dropping
get
shit.
to the beach. I'm just
Sure.
hoping I never
'Cause I
snap and end
hate-
up featured on this channel.
I can't, again, thought experiment, because you can't say that you'll never do XYZ because that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Because everybody is a human, everybody can get pushed to their breaking point. It's just if you look at your life and you're not in an abusive relationship or you don't have anger issues or any of that shit, like you would have to fuck up so monumentally badly to go from like just being a chill person hanging out in a chat room to like, I mean, hopefully everybody here feels pretty self-aware. Hopefully you'd see that thing, you're able to like yank the wheel off the road before you're like George Hewley III and you're beating Yardley Smith to death and then being like, no, she's not dead.
glass in the water.
Yeah.
That's another one of my pet peeves.
Yeah.
Anthony,
on that.
he's our man. If he
Well,
did it,
first-
he'd go to jail.
First month I was there, I was out at Turkey Pass picking up trash, and people were in from out of state. Kid goes in the water. What's the first thing he does?
Oh, thank you, Rod. I would like to get something on paper because he says if I ever end up in interrogation, FOP gets exclusive rights. I will break that story.
I'm going to screenshot this.
News alert. Everybody come gather around. Rod fucking seriously finally snaps.
Steps on the damn rope.
I have photo evidence.
And after that, I thought, no. So every day, I go out
Inanimate
there,
carbon
I'd have
rock.
a 5-gallon bucket, and I'd fill them suckers up. I figured, I do that enough, I'd get it all, but you don't. You'd be surprised. You get out there and you have it spotless. Next day, next wind, like
Okay, so he's blowing himself again. In addition to being a pillar of the community to the people, he also goes down to the beach and fills up bucket after bucket of refuse to keep the kids safe.
Oh,
Because
that's
of the
nice.
fish hook he found once.
nothing ever, you never did that, nothing.
You done did it.
Yeah.
You done did it,
Hey,
boy.
to get back to what we're here about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, P.S.
yeah.
35 minutes have gone by. Let's
Thanks.
get back on track. Let's stop talking about cleaning up the beaches. I don't care what Greenpeace has to say about you, Mr. Palma.
I mean, you've been living there all these years since Kirsten.
Modern
went
marvel.
missing. I'm curious about your thoughts on what happened, who might be involved, that kind of thing.
There he goes, sits back toward the table again.
Are you involved at all?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I didn't know him. But the one thing that's always bothered me, that she left, the mom, she went to Jones, I guess, with her
Here we go.
dad or something like that. You could have got me off out of my house.
Fucking victim shaming, not even victim blaming, because he's pissed, or not pissed, he's like making a point that the mother of the woman whose child he killed moved away. She didn't want to stay in the place that held an unending ocean of pain for her.
Right.
And yeah, you're going to hold that against her? I can't believe that. Tony, I'm on your side now, you fucking monster.
I mean, I know, what if she comes back, or, what if somebody makes a call, or, something like that. There was no way I'd let her.
All he had to
was
do.
not kill someone.
That's it.
That's the easiest thing to do. I do it every day. I take it one day at a time. I say, good news, Dave. You made it all the way to bedtime without murder. Every day I go put another notch on the board. You know, it says so many days without an accident. I haven't done the math. I'd have to look at the chart, but however many days I've been alive, 0 murders. Goose egg. Hey, bro.
That's the only thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
Brava.
Hey,
She felt
brother.
like she shouldn't have left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever, at any point over these years, or back when it occurred, have any knowledge of what happened, or know who was involved?
No.
Were you in any way involved?
No. No.
So you're not responsible
No.
for Kirsten's disappearance?
See, we were dancing around it earlier. Never been in the house, never been in the backyard. Now he's just straight up asking. So you never even like let's even put like any obfuscative details aside. You did not commit this murder, right? We're never gonna find your DNA, your deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Nowhere, right? You know what DNA is?
No.
Steven.
Didn't play any part in that?
No. Like I said,
The hair's
didn't know.
there, Steven.
Didn't have, like I said, I just barely, you know, might have seen her once, twice, playing with
3
the kids.
times a
but
lady.
Other than that, I didn't know.
Well,
Hand of God, Scout's honor. I wasn't a scout, but I'll raise my hand like I was.
just out of
Swear on
curiosity,
my
what do
mama's
you think
grave.
the motivation was of whoever did this? I mean,
Steven.
why would this have happened?
Well, then I couldn't have told you, but after over the years, you know, and hearing the rumors and this and that and the other, it always boils down to drugs.
Here we go.
You know, I heard that she was on meth and cocaine and
Didn't know a thing about her. Didn't know the kid. Didn't know the mom. Knew jack shit. But I did hear things, obviously. And like, not to be like, haha, again with the inconsistencies, because that's all this is. But the detectives don't bring it up, so I'm going to do it. So you didn't know them, but everybody knew about them enough to talk shit about them,
Right.
like on a neighborhood wide scale. Like I can't imagine like if one of my neighbor's kids disappeared, like anyone coming out of the woodwork to be like meth, right? You would either know that beforehand because like I lived in a neighborhood where meth houses existed along the path of my life. It wasn't a secret.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be like, oh, never heard of them, didn't know, but I do know about meth. Fuck.
all this other. And Dawn's wife was the same thing. You know, she said, yeah,
I heard he drinks wine on stream. Yeah, he gets shit faced.
been over there, you know, that night,
Terrier
and they got
balding.
lit up. So apparently she did get lit up because, you know, if somebody did come in, I mean, wouldn't you have heard it? I don't know.
So,
But I know
Right, more victim blaming. Like, God damn it. I can't imagine. Like, just the thought experiment alone of hypothetically putting all this together and then, like, even divorced and not being able to identify in the slightest because it's never happened. But just imagine this where, like, the person who did it is like, well, didn't you hear him come get your kid? If my kid disappears and someone says, well, didn't you hear anything? They would have no teeth left.
Right.
But of course, this is like the thing I'm putting together in my head. I don't know if I would actually jump upon them and bite out their jugular vein and punch them until their face bones were reduced to mush. But it definitely feels like something that I would want to do. Mm-hmm. But just to be like, yeah, she was on meth and like, didn't you hear a fucking thing, you high bitch? That's why you lost your 8-year-old. Oh my God. Like, we're firing squads, right, guys?
I know
does that
some
mean
people.
that she left Kirsten home alone, you think? Or
I don't know, but I'm sure she did. But I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know.
Classic
And I really
Don's
didn't pay
wife.
much attention to Don and his wife. It's just,
where did they live? I'm pretty sure
kind of
that's
catty
all
corner
this
for me.
straight
In White
across the
House.
street.
Not straight, just catty corner. A little White House, catty corner for me.
Okay.
And they had 2 or 3 kids, and I'd come home one day, I was rewarding myself. I did something, and I was stopped at Kentucky Fried Chicken, got me a family pack of chicken. I was going to go down. And the kids, whenever I walked up, they was just, the way they were eyeballing me, you know, like they hadn't ate nothing. I mean, they were really, if you'd have seen them, you'd have thought that too, because I mean, they were skinny. So I got me a piece of chicken, I was chewing on it, and they just, you don't want some chicken? Yeah. Is that all right if they can have this? Yeah.
What a fucking hero. What a fucking great guy. I can't believe he's ever been accused of murder and then was found guilty and had, got convicted to life in jail and then was brutally murdered by his cellmate. However, like, the problem with this story is basically everything, right? Like, he's not a family, buying a family-sized bucket of chicken, whatever. Like, the thing is, like, so, see, in my head, when I hear him tell this story, it feels like he's just... Because you only know what you know, right? So, like, growing up, my father had pickup trucks, and the first one was a Chevy Love. So sometimes when it was like a nice afternoon, open the garage, pull down the tailgate, we'd sit on there, play around in the garage, or on the driveway too. This guy makes it feel like an adult in any situation akin to this would take his food, walk into the house, and eat it.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's either sitting on the bed of the truck that I pull from my memory, looking out into the neighborhood of all these hungry children who are now gathering around like the little slave kids that Indiana Jones releases from the Temple of Doom. What are we doing here? All these kids, I never paid attention to any of these people. They would just gather around me and ask for chicken.
He was like the Snow White for kids.
Yeah, like he fed them chicken and they made him a beautiful gown for the ball. Mm. Yet he still doesn't know like the name, gender, age, or house color of the people in question.
Right.
Yeah, he's like the Pied Piper with his little bucket of chicken. He goes, "Come on, kids, I was chewing on a piece of chicken." Fucking ridiculous. Eating outside?
Yeah. That's good.
Because no, it's not. No, it's something everybody do. When you got kids that are,
Yeah.
And I know he was a welder by trade, but he, talking to him a time or two, things weren't going right
He was hanging drum
for him, and he didn't have money and all that. So yeah, I didn't have a problem.
Ain't did
Who we
nothing.
talking about was a welder, Don. Okay. From looking back over the history, I understood that Shannon's brother.
Oh wow, that's a nice reference. Half native, the Zinger, Mr. Yabo, the Zinger. God damn, that's like an early 2000s reference. Not quite old enough to be nostalgic, but I remember it. KFC Zinger. Fuck.
I guess stayed with you for a short time.
Aaron.
Tell us about that. How did that happen? And
he was in the neighborhood. He's apparently looking for, his niece.
Right. It's KFC feels like one of those companies that shows up in interrogations a lot. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do.
So I'm out there one day and he stops and he talks, anything, and blah, 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 and we just got to talking, and, he's living in a damn, under a bridge, and dude, I found out already that night that he'd been locked up, so he wasn't a suspect in my book. So yeah, I opened my house to him. If you ain't got because I did that for anybody.
If you just live the KFC, Maxwell, please don't offer it to any children. It'll only implicate you further.
It's sick to say,
Yeah,
but
KFC in my console. Yeah, my fishing gear, my KFC bucket is in my console.
that's the kind of guy I am. So he needed a place to stay. There's a couch, you can trash here for a couple days and, try to do what you got to do to,
Yeah, just helping the
figure out what
homeless,
happened to your
being a
needs.
pillar of the community.
I mean, to me, that's like y'all. That's serious.
sure, absolutely.
Duh.
That's a serious
How
deal.
long after Kirsten went missing did this happen? Was it like the same week? Was
Yeah,
it
probably in the same week.
in the same week?
Yeah,
And then how long-
I can't verify that because, like I said, that's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
It's been about 17 years. About 17 years, give or take.
it was probably about in the same week.
How long did Aaron stay there with you?
Just a couple of days, and then
Not for nothing, Rachel. If you put your dick at the bottom of a bucket of KFC, like popcorn feels like something you'll move through quickly. Like a bucket of KFC, if you're sneaking in into like a movie theaters or anywhere where you're going to be sitting down,
That'd take a while.
and having a hot bucket of chicken in your pocket, like you'd have to go through you'd have to hope they came hungry and are going to leave come hungry. If you know what I mean?
he'd go off, and then he'd come back,
I'm just saying.
and then I wound up having to just tell him he couldn't come back.
Just
'cause
gotta keep
he
the
was on
cities
that
right.
too.
It's
Didn't
faster.
at the time didn't know
You
it.
guys still have the Zinger? Hot damn. The 2003 era is alive in New Zealand. Still.
Should mail us one.
And I think
Yeah,
too,
pop one of those zingers in the mail.
it shows you've heard that Shannon was using drugs too.
I mean, I don't know for a fact, but that's what I heard.
And I'll just say this, if you ever partied with them, if you knew they were doing drugs or witnessed it,
I'm here to party.
just tell us that.
No,
because
no.
We're not.
No, I don't.
Oh, no. That's all for me. Foster's and the 2 6-packs of Mike's Hard.
No. Like I said, and y'all know, you got people that do drugs, you got people that drink, and you don't do drink and you don't, I drink. But no, I never partied with them. I never partied with Don and his wife.
Okay.
Did you ever party with them? No. Don and his wife? No. Don and his wife, right? That's the kid that finally made it.
Now, did you know Aaron at all before?
No.
So you'd never met him, never
Two
talked to him
36
before
packs.
either? Did he ever confide in you anything about the case or anything about
Just that
Shannon?
he couldn't clear his sister. Those words will always, I can't, it's the way he said it. I can't clear my sister.
Don's
So he was
wife just isn't a
suspicious
nice
of
person.
Shannon, huh?
I bet her name is Brenda. Brenda?
White meat or dark meat?
Did he ever give you?
White. Right? Like, I don't know. Personally.
I like them both.
I'm not a huge, the problem with dark meat for me is I'm a textural guy, and those tendons that you find at the end of the thigh muscles on a chicken make me want to throw up so hard my eyes will come out of my mouth.
Give you any real factual information?
That's why she's not a nice person. Well, first of all, she's not a nice person. She let me lose their bathroom.
That
I just
would be
said that.
beneficial to the case.
Now I'm saying it. Eli didn't care.
No, like I said, I'm here on my own free will. If I had any information.
Carla?
Don and
I
Carla.
don't, my favorite name to yell in anger is Brenda. Tammy's a close second, but Brenda's my favorite.
Yeah, I'd give it to you.
I like
That'd be the
Susan
same thing if
sometimes.
something were to
Susan or
happen to my
Brenda.
daughter.
Yeah, Rachel, you and me. The tendons ruin the fun.
My
Here
God.
illegally.
Yeah.
Don's wife here illegally.
I don't know how she does it.
Don
I mean,
and
if she's
Scott.
innocent, God bless her soul. I don't know how she does it, because I just thinking about it. What would I do if my daughter come up missing?
Oh yeah.
And she's my world. That's all I've got.
Yeah,
My
think
lady
about
can go
that.
to
But
hell.
like, you
Mine
just
can-
went back to work after you
Yeah,
found out.
like every TCAP person. I wouldn't do this. I've got sons that are 21 and 22 years old, or I got a 5-year-old I'm trying to see. Everybody's got kids. It doesn't change a fucking thing.
Right.
Like, as much as I love my son, if I were a murderer, I probably would be like, I love my son. I'd never murder somebody. Those two things are unrelated. Like, I've never been on fire, so I've never, deep-throated a fire extinguisher. I don't know. Whatever.
Kid, that's no.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They
I mean,
throw
it's
me in
hard to-
jail because I'd be carrying Midwest City.
It's hard to imagine.
Anywho,
Construction guy.
We've talked a lot about kind of the background. I want to kind
But
of
let's try and get back to what we were fucking talking about. I brought it back 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Let's keep it there.
talk to you about
Fishing.
some new information developed in this case, okay?
Oh, interesting.
Ooh.
As you know, Detective Miller got some buccal swabs from you.
buckle.
A couple
He
months
says buckle. Some people say buccal. I like to say buccal. Stefan Buccal.
back or whenever it was. There was a reason for that, okay?
When someone in question says they would never kill the mother or father of the child, I think guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's you, I, and everybody here probably has an. I don't know if I would call it an unfair advantage, but with the track record of a person who likes true crime or watches interrogations or whatever, you would, after a while, by just sheer volume, would start to pick up on these patterns. I don't think if I were guilty, I could talk my way out of anything. I don't know if I could do that before, but again, if you're in that situation and the emotions are running, your adrenaline, your cortisol, all your stress hormones are through the roof, you don't know how you're going to act.
Yeah.
Because here, not committing any crimes, not having committed a murder, a burglary, like no homicide, no manslaughter, no nothing. I could sit here and go, well, I would do this, this, and this. But I'm not that person who would ever have to do that.
Yes.
Realistically. So it's hard to play Monday morning quarterback for a situation that you haven't been in. And if you are going to be in, your life will have hit the skids.
And we collected
Vehicular.
DNA samples from lots of people. But we had resubmitted some evidence from the case and got the DNA hit.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
The reason those buccal swabs were being collected was we were trying to find the person.
Cool.
I didn't realize we could do super chats here. Huh, how neat. Love you guys. Thanks for all the fun. Only a little space left. Uh-oh. Poo poo pee pee.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Thank you.
We recently got monetized. I appreciate that. Classic.
Person responsible.
Butthole swabs. Yeah, they swab this butthole. Yeah. Cool. Oh. So Rod, if you are referencing the case that I think you're referencing, or even if it's just a happy coincidence, let's talk about it for a second. So Cyrus, the pizza delivery dude who showed up at a 10-year-old's house to like use the bathroom and essentially get inside of, they asked him for buccal swabs and he proclaimed butthole swabs. Cyrus, the virus.
We talked about, had you ever been in the backyard? Have you ever been in the house? All those things.
Yeah, Cyrus. Holy shit, what a fucking nightmare. And yeah, also, P.S., like, getting rid of a body, just imagine imagine this. Think of a like a no or low, what's the word? Like repercussion sort of thing. Like tonight I was making some lemonade for our grand opening tomorrow at the business we're starting. And I go, as I'm shaking this thing and getting all the ingredients mixed up, I go, wouldn't it suck if I drop this and a gallon of sugar, water, and lemon is just dispersed through my house? What a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And just having to clean up something that even if I didn't, nobody would probably give a fuck because they're not going to come into my house. I'm not going to invite someone and be like, look at this lemonade I spilled. And eventually I'd have to. But like anywhere between like 15 and 220 pounds of human you now have to get rid of?
Right.
Holy fuck, dude. Don't. Just go your separate way. Don't be an asshole.
This is a nightmare.
Are you opening a sting house?
And you said you hadn't.
Yeah, classic. I'm opening. Yeah, I'm opening a. It's like a bed and breakfast. It's like an Airbnb, but it's an Airbnb. It's a bed and sting house. They typically don't get to the bed because Chris Hansen's there.
Oh yeah, lemonade spills.
No,
the bees
they
in
were
the
there.
town's antennas perk up. Huh?
Well,
Oh yeah, like what? Huh?
I don't believe you.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank
I don't
you.
think you're telling the whole truth. Okay.
Thanks, Maxwell.
Your
also.
DNA
Baby and chill.
is in the backyard.
Baby and chill.
The morning that she was discovered missing. Okay.
Bed breakfast and chill. Yeah. Hey, my dad made this. Netflix, chill. Sting house. I'm a 40-year-old decoy.
And on her window.
Yeah, Del Harvey will be at
And
the
on
concierge.
candies she'd been wearing
Oh,
the
yeah.
night before that
My goddamn toe.
were covered in the
Gotta get a
backyard.
Band-Aid.
No, not me, because I
Not
was
me.
no.
No.
Yeah, that's the truth.
The DNA was yours. P.S.
I find it far-fetched, but no. Because I don't know.
My
I
dad's
didn't
gonna
know.
shoot me if I get blood on the carpet.
Far-fetched. We found your DNA on the windowsill and on the underwear. It's far-fetched. I don't know. It's a little out there. This isn't like, we didn't land on the moon or the pyramids are built by aliens. This is, we have your DNA and is provable to an order of magnitude in the millions.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't know him, Tony. But we need
And I didn't have no business.
Right? You don't want to pull a Chandler Halderson and like as they're skinny dipping in the pool, you're burying like your father's torso.
Right.
Within like an earshot. Like, hey Chris and your partner, I'm just gonna wash this blood off my hands in your pool. Nice tits. I'm Chandler Halderson.
Business over there at all.
That may be also. What we need to talk about is what you were doing in that backyard that night and what happened. We need to get to the truth of
I
what
have
happened.
no idea what you're talking about.
Don't know.
Were you
To
there trying to
know.
help Kirsten?
No.
To know.
Like I said, I didn't know anything about them people at all. Nothing. Nothing.
Impossible.
Never met them. Never said hi, bye, nothing.
Mom's on that though.
This makes my early days of thinking it would be really funny to deposit my DNL over town feel like an errant judgment of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to watch out because sometimes, yeah, you can feel like, being a little rambunctious, being a rapscallion and just like jizzing places. It's jizz time, jizzing all over town and hoping you don't get nabbed when they swab it. But, I would say, play it cool. Stick to the places you know. Like TLC taught us. You go chase some waterfalls. Jizz in the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
Rod says Chandler Halderson footage is an all-time great. You need to rewatch your content.
Chandler Halderson he's lightning in a bottle. I don't know. Like Joel Guy Jr. if he gave us interrogation footage.
Yeah. Brick says, long story, but I had someone lose a lot of blood in my car due to an injury and took days to get the car to look clean, but would have had to gut the car to get it all. Got rid of it soon after.
Right.
Looked like someone had been murdered.
And that's something you like, if you aren't in that mindset, you go, well, this is easily explainable because the person who bled in the car is still alive and can't be questioned.
Yeah.
Like, if you have, I don't want to necessarily say pure intent because like nobody is going to be, a saint here on earth. But if you're not like looking to fuck people over and or murder them in general, it would be easy to explain. You go, my friend's still alive, and they go, great. But yeah, like it does, especially if you're into true crime, everything that maybe not everything. How do I want to put this? You're like, at least for me, I'm constantly on the lookout of like, maybe not constantly, I'm not paranoid, but sometimes I'll think if like something innocuous, like on your phone, for example, you've got something spicy from a loved one or some pictures or whatever, so whatever it is, and it's embarrassing. I always think to myself, like, if I had to hear this read in court or this photo to be viewed in court, would I be okay with that if I were innocent? And that's the thing. If you're innocent, you have to get out in front of all the embarrassing shit. If I ever get accused of murder and for some reason decide not to go with a lawyer, I'll say, look at whatever. Check out my balls, check out my dick. It's all in my phone.
My butt plug collection.
Look at my butt plug collection. Tear my bedroom apart. Do this, that, and the other. Because I know there's nothing in this house that I can go to jail for. And getting a little embarrassed feels better than like, death row. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I see a mannequin, I think it's a body. Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you just look at stuff and you go like, I'm not that weird. Yeah, it's constantly scratching your eczema. And like constantly my mom's getting nosebleeds, just like horking big blood loogies all over the... What, Chandler? Are you kidding me? Who are your parents, Neanderthals?
Here's our problem with that is how did your DNA get there?
Ooh, nicked an artery? Jesus Christ, that thing will kill you. Exsanguination is a killer, guys. Look out.
Don't know.
I mean, is this something that's gone on, Tony, that is this one of those things from 17 years ago that
One of those things.
a split-second decision has haunted you for 17 years?
No, I don't know what y'all are talking
Were
about.
you there to
I don't know what you're talking about. We've been here for 44 minutes, dude, talking about the abduction and murder of an 8-year-old child. And you're like, nope, don't know. What? Where are we?
Yeah.
Who are
Where's
you?
my Subway?
My dementia's kicking in. Where's my meatball
No.
sub?
I need
Like
my
I said,
nebulizer.
I have nothing to do with them people. Nothing. I didn't know them at all.
I didn't know him enough.
I-
Here's the thing. Idiots will do this all the time where they go, I didn't know them well enough to kill them. Like, do you think all the people that like Ted Bundy or Rodney Alcala or John Wayne Gacy or what's his nuts, the tall guy, Ed Kemper. You think like they had personal relationships with everybody they killed? Like that's a terrible defense. To be like, I didn't even know him. Like when BTK broke into the Otero family household, do you think they like had dinner and shared ambrosia salad like at the end of a meal? No, you don't have to know someone to kill them. Murderers and potential murderers. Stop saying that shit.
I have no idea.
There.
I have no idea.
Your blood
Go
is on her window. Your blood is on Kirsten's panties.
Well, damn. Oh.
I don't see how that can happen.
Well, it happened.
Well,
it's there.
I do. Because here's the thing. She disappeared that night, and her underwear was left in the backyard, and your blood was left on it, right? Now, typically, blood is kept inside the body, so it would have to come out through artificial means or through, maybe some violent act. I don't see how that could happen. I mean, even if you don't know what DNA is, everybody knows what blood is.
Right.
How did it get there?
Happens when you're injured in some way, and your blood gets transferred to her window and those panties.
And here's
And it
what
gets
I
left
think
behind.
happened. I think you were there to help.
I would like to just put this out to humans as a species. Like, until you're 18, we don't call them panties. Just call them underwear. I don't like the idea of an 8-year-old's underwear being called panties. Maybe it's just a sticking point for me. Feels a little gross. But say 8-year-old underwear.
Yeah.
Like panties. Like this isn't... bleh, bleh.
No. I wasn't there, period.
He was there to party.
How did your blood get there?
I have no idea.
Pee is stored in the balls.
Tony, you were there.
Yeah, I think you were there to help. Yeah. Thank you for catching that, Rachel, because it flew right by me. That's the next thing that's going to be floated. The theory is, so like in a murder where like the person's an adult and like you put their body in acid, you can say, well, maybe you're defending yourself. In this, they're going to kickflip that 180 degrees in the other direction because, again, since he set up that the mom was on meth, hypothetically and allegedly, maybe you were sneaking into their backyard to abduct this 8-year-old in an attempt to help. I've never looked at a situation. I felt bad for kids and people, in my life. Never at any point in my thought process did I think, well, maybe I'll just go in, abduct them, and let them live in my house consequence-free. And I hope to God nothing goes off the rails or bad, and I end up strangling them or whatever. Like, what a faux pas, right? Like, whoa, egg on my face and blushing because I'm so embarrassed. I went to help this girl and ended up murdering her horribly. And then her underwear came off. Kickflip that shit.
Yeah.
This is scientific evidence.
Knickers.
It's not a debate.
Me
It's not
knickers.
anything that can be argued.
Hey, brother, me knickers. No, knickers are for ladies. I said that once on an English podcast. I was on the Milk Bar way back in the day when it was just a podcast. And I did the interview with a shirt on, but I didn't feel like putting on pants. So I was basically boxers from the waist down. And when I thought we were no longer recording, I was like, yeah, I'm in my underwear. And I stood up and we had a webcam and I showed them I was in my underwear and I called it knickers. They put it in the show.
Nice.
So that was one embarrassment that I kind of got over because, I'm hanging a big piece of chicken. I'm hanging a drumstick down. Just kidding. But like, I didn't really care. But on top of that, I was mocked relentlessly because I said I was wearing knickers, which again is a woman's pair of underwear.
And here's the point where I really feel you're a good guy. I mean, you've worked 29 years at a hard job. You came up rough like I did. You came up poor.
Yeah, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, so I have since learned that undies are for boys and knickers are for girls. I should have known that because in Are You Being Served, the women sell knickers. No one ever... And the men sold boxer shorts and or briefs. I realized, again, I was caught off guard. I was in my underwear. I stood up and showed them. My dick could have easily fallen out of the flap. I didn't know what I was doing. I said knickers. I regret it.
It had nothing to do with any of this.
But here's the thing. I don't think that was your intention. You're going to have to...
Yes, thank you.
I
If you were there...
how I do it.
If you were there
I don't know how I do
You
it.
were there because you heard her yelling for help
Agreed.
from your backyard, and you go over there to see because you knew that her mother was a meth head and that she was probably at home alone, and you went over there to help.
No.
And you went to the backyard to avoid a conflict with the mother, and you was just going to take care of this
No.
little girl because just like you, growing up, you didn't want her being treated that way.
Not me.
That's how understandable things become.
Right, because in this situation, you can't, like, this isn't, nobody, I don't know, the trope is, like, were you defending yourself? Did they pull a knife? Like, not even the most delusional person on earth could be like, well, did the 8-year-old attack you when you broke into her room and pulled the screen from her window and crawled in like a lurking creeper? Did she pull a knife on you? Were you just defending yourself, Castle Doctrine style? No. But this is even worse, right? Like, it's not, I can't see a situation going so pear-shaped that you go in looking to save someone and end up killing them. Like, I can see an aliens situation where you go in to save a colony and end up getting murdered by a bunch of monsters, because that seems legitimate. But nowhere did they, like, go in looking to be like, let's save those aliens, and then they just blast them and get coated in acid blood.
Yeah.
They weren't there to save the aliens.
Yeah, I could understand.
Oh, when I worked at Disney, the Disney parks, they cautioned us not to call them fanny packs. Yes, because the British, yes. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
not for nothing. Like, my aunt took my cousins to Europe in the 90s, and that was the era of the fanny pack, which then she came home with stories of like, yeah, you can't call them fanny pack, you got to call them bum bags or pouches or whatever, because vagina pack didn't
That's not.
fly.
Yeah. It's not PC.
Yeah, but
bum bag.
I don't understand how you're
Maybe
getting
you-
my DNA.
Euro
Well,
Disney?
exactly.
Yeah,
How
are you a European, Thomas?
was your blood?
I have no idea.
Well,
I wasn't there at all.
We weren't there either. All we have is this.
Yeah, he went there to tell her he wasn't going to come by.
Yeah.
Classic Rob Klein. He pulled the screen out of her window, jimmied his way in, and he goes, hey, baby, 8-year-old, I'm just here to say that I'm not going to come in here. Now let's get out of here and let's ditch your, I can't call them that, underwear by the apricot tree.
The evidence that was collected.
Hmm.
I
You didn't have
collect
to
it.
take a shower.
It was collected 17 years ago, Tony. But it's there.
The hair.
And we have to deal with this. And you're saying you were never there.
No.
Bum boy. Yeah, I mean, whatever trigger you have. I don't like the term bum bag either. Like, I carry a fanny pack. I'm not embarrassed. I don't call it a fanny pack, but I also don't call it a bum bag either.
There's no reason. It
Oh,
should be
absolutely. He says later on, we'll get to it. He says, if I had a beer, I had 2. A classic cop's answer. And if you've had 2, you've had 12.
there.
No.
He was shit.
It's not helping your cause. What's going to help your cause is to explain to us how it's there.
I
Because the
don't
fact,
have a clue.
because the fact it's there is the gorilla in the room.
Right? You try to be a good Samaritan. You feed the hungry children and the little Indian refugees from the Temple of Doom. And you fix an old person's washing machine. And here you go. You end up being charged with murder.
If I got away with a murder, I'd never stay in the town I did it. You'd known me as Tijuana Tom if they didn't pull me in within a month.
Right? And that's not that, like, 'cause, whatever. Being like, oh, you're helping people think about whatever. But, like, you have to have these thought experiments, right? Like, because whatever the amount of crime is, the ones that are detected, not the ones that just go off because there's no evidence or no one cares or whatever. The crimes that are detected, which we don't know the percentage of the actual crimes committed, the crimes that are detected, 50% have a closure rate. So, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, the odds are in your favor if you're a criminal. It's just, you have to be a scumbag. And also, if you're going to be a scumbag, you're probably not going to think about, this is why this happens. All the people who get away with it, the ones who go undetected that we'll never know about, like they're on the far end of the spectrum. Like what we are seeing every time you watch this show and we watch interrogation footage or someone being cross-examined or whatever, like they're the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
It's like the criminal justice system is essentially the fail army of reality. Because there are people fucking up and failing and being idiots all the fucking time. It's just very few of them are. It's like being a fossil, right? You can die anywhere on planet Earth as a dinosaur, as a Pleistocene superfauna, as a beetle from the Devonian or the Carboniferous era or whatever. Happens all the time. The lightning in a bottle that has to happen for you to become a fossil is like the criminal justice system. They have to find you. And not only do they have to find you, they have to like prove everything that happened beyond a reasonable doubt, which is incredibly difficult. Even though we like to sit back and go like, yeah, they're doing basically okay because the prisons are full to bursting. But we only know what we know.
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know. And what we don't know that we don't know is beyond that. How dare you, Mr. Yabo?
No. You were there for... You had a relationship with Shannon.
No, never knew her.
You were there as a peeping Tom or something.
Give the utility belt. Classic Batman shit. Brick was actually a super nerd hero.
This nature.
No.
Then those are explainable.
I understand that, but I no, never there.
Never there.
Never there.
Can't give us any reason
No.
why your blood would be there.
No.
Right. It's hard to forget that because, especially in cold cases, we get that extra layer of like, because like the ones we don't know about or the ones that don't get caught, we can't get mad at. But the cold cases add that extra layer of shit because typically it's kind of like this, where in 1997, I don't know where DNA testing technology was, but we had from 1997 to 2014, and it wasn't until 2014 that even like someone thought to test it.
Right. It's not like they had like a like something happened.
In 1994, we were cloning dinosaurs using frog DNA. And this is 1997. They couldn't test that shit?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Lord
Telling you
Palma
the worst thing you can do for yourself right now in this position
is lie.
is lie and not be truthful.
I'm being truthful, dude. I don't know.
Dude.
I don't.
Bruh. Come on, bruh. I didn't kill him, bruh.
I can't explain that. Why that y'all are finding this?
Well,
But you
your
have
blood is in
to.
that backyard the morning that she's discovered missing. Okay, this is your chance, Tony,
I understand
to
that, but
explain what happened.
Ridiculous.
Maybe you didn't mean
no.
for whatever
I was
happened to
not
happen.
there.
You were there.
You were there. Was
There's
you
no
in
doubt
a
about
depression? Was that a period when you were going through a
Just
depression
being honest.
and drinking and getting depressed, and you don't remember until later what actually occurred?
I don't even think I was drinking that night. Tell you the truth, I might have
17
been, but I
years
don't
ago?
think so.
Definitely not.
And I was in bed. And
So
I'm
this
pretty
isn't
sure
the-
I don't sleepwalk.
This isn't a deal where you got drunk the night before and actually went through with some urges you had,
No,
whether you're attracted to little girls
No.
or whatever your
I've
thing
never
might
been
be.
attracted to little girls. Or
I think they could test it, but the courts didn't admit it yet as worried it could be wrong or misinterpreted. What are we talking about?
DNA testing back in the
Oh.
90s.
Yeah, but again, like, I don't know, like 1997, it's that weird era where like pagers still exist. So yeah, it like, I can see where, because there is that awkward moment where the technology exists, but it's shit. Because like in the early days, you needed like a size of a quarter sample of like blood or something to
Yeah.
test. So I understand the maybe the apprehension of like testing it because you needed basically all of it, and then once you do that, it's gone. And with the technology in its infancy, then you have like inconclusive results and you burn through the sample. But
Yeah.
17 years is so fucking crazy.
Ryan says the OJ trial in 94 had DNA.
Right. And that, again, So it probably could have been done, but I understand the apprehension because anything in the 90s is still in its infancy. Like cassettes and CDs were still being sold in stores. So I'm not sure if I would trust the DNA technology of the 90s. But waiting until 2014, I could see like 2006 being acceptable. 2014 from 1997, like that feels so fucking crazy. But again, like there are so many cases coming down, so many people who are allocated to fight these crimes. I see why a lot of these things just fall by the wayside, because if like something as simple as paperwork, if you're doing it and it's stacking up, no matter how fast you go, if the people delivering shit into your inbox are faster, some of that shit just isn't going to get filled out.
Yeah. Also, Rachel says crimes were solved without, like, before DNA.
Right. But that's the issue with this case, though, is without that DNA, there is no smoking gun. Because he was interviewed back in the day, and some of these things, because of the technology or whatever, the skill of the detectives or the police are in its infancy or they're new or whatever, it's impossible to lay blame because we're all human and humans make mistakes, especially when it comes to something with such high standards. Because, like, to commit a crime, you don't need to prove scientific efficacy of it.
Yeah.
You can just murder someone. Whereas if someone wants to prove you did it, they need to go through a lot of rigorous testing and shit that, like, just doesn't need to happen if all you want to do is kill somebody.
Or little boys.
Well, once again, how is your blood there?
I don't know.
Do you not believe me when I tell you that we have your DNA?
No, I don't.
You don't believe me? Okay. And I can show you the.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
I can get you your blood.
I'm sure you could, but I'm a flat earther. So even if you show me irrefutable evidence, I will tell you it is wrong because of my belief in dogma. I refuse to accept new knowledge. Guess who I voted for? I don't mean to put political.
But I don't know how that could have happened.
Well, there's
I
more.
wasn't there.
Adios,
There's more to
Ryan.
this
Thank you for
story,
showing
Tony,
up.
and that's what we're hoping to get from you today.
Bye.
And this is your opportunity
Sure you have,
to
right?
be truthful and to take responsibility for whatever happened.
Yeah, if I was responsible, that'd be different.
Okay. Well, with that said,
This is just a kissing cousin of the people who say, well, if I did commit the murder, I'd be the first one to confess.
Yeah.
And realistically, no.
Right.
What? Are you kidding me? Like, if I knew that I killed George and I put him in that suitcase, I'd be the first one to say I did. No, the fuck you wouldn't. Stop saying stupid shit like that.
were you there and somebody else was there and actually took her, and maybe you left your DNA
not
behind?
there. I'm not into little girls, and I'm not a window peeper.
Okay. Well, is there some other explanation for why you were in that backyard that night?
I wasn't in that backyard. I don't know.
But your blood.
My blood.
Window peeper was like the old-fashioned way of saying pervert, where you go like, yeah, just watch out. There's literally, like, sure, we could try to protect our children from perverts, but he's just a harmless window peeper.
I've never heard it called a window peeper before.
It depends on the time frame of the person and the part of the country, but they can say like a peeping Tom or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, window peeper just feels like down home folksy, like, yeah, I'm a pervert, but I'm not a window peeper. I'm not a peeping Tom. Because, like, I mean, the orders of magnitude from, like, watching someone undress from across the street with binoculars to, like, abducting someone in the single-digit age range.
But could have been there.
See, Tom Yabo has seen Jeepers Creepers in the recent past.
Or what? I know I went to bed. I know when the dog woke me up, I didn't go out my back door. I let dog in, and I went back to bed.
Well, Tony, I don't know how
But the blood.
to impress upon you any more than
I'm out of here.
We've got the,
Gots to
the
go.
physical evidence there. And we have to get to that, Tony, we really do. And we have to get to a point where we can explain that.
I understand that.
Stephen McDickcheese was a
Oh,
window
100%. We
peeper.
have like documented evidence he was a window peeper
Yeah.
because he brought his fucking VHS camera with him. Like you can hear his like ragged guttural breathing as he's like peering through Lauren's window.
We do that.
I wish I could. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Yes, I don't know what you're talking about. Like that's just. Even if you were innocent, saying you don't know what you're talking about is like so ridiculous on the face of it. Because we're all speaking the same language. It's not like they're speaking French and he's speaking German and he's like, I don't get it. Like the context clues are there. He knows the situation. So just be like, it wasn't me. Don't say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Brick goes, what if it's your own house you're doing it to? I like to spy on my dogs and see what they do when I'm not around.
That feels. It feels fine. Like I was gonna say, there's nothing about that like, because who hasn't? If you own a dog, you sometimes just want to fuck with them because it's fun and they don't know. Like you jump out and scare them or whatever. You do it to your cats too. But sometimes, like, yeah, I would do that same thing where I would like, if my dog didn't know I was watching them, I would like, just to burn a few minutes to see what goes on. There's a scientist in us all, so I totally get that. Like, if you were like, I don't know, like you had a partner and you're like looking at them through the window as they shower, maybe you have some sort of agreement with them about. But like, imagine explaining that to like your neighbor misunderstands you just peeping at your own wife. And then the cops show up and you go, no, I have a boner outside of a house that I'm looking into, but
I live there.
The person I'm getting boned up over, they let me fuck them. They would take you to jail like fucking immediately, dudes.
I don't sleepwalk.
Tony,
Yeah,
I
Rachel's a
think
dog
that,
peeper.
You've been living with us a long time.
17 years.
And I think
Living with what?
with what happened.
Living with what? What we're talking about, dude. I don't know. Like it's the last refuge, right? You just have to, like, when there's nothing else you can do and you're too stupid to say lawyer and stop the interview, you have to go like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember. I don't know. But doesn't that feel a little bit like, I don't know how to even describe it. Like you're Sisyphus and you push the boulder up the hill and you started to run away, even though you know the boulder's coming back down at you. And like, it's inevitable. It's going to run you over because you decided to stop pushing it and there's no way around it. You're going to be crushed by this boulder. Just to be like, nuh-uh, bitch, or I don't think so, or
Not today.
we'll kiss them, dogs.
And I think that
I may be window
it's
peeping,
one of those
but
things,
not
Tony, where you're
intentionally.
scared and
You saw a clip of an arrest of a naked dude? So there was that one policeman. We've talked about him in this channel. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was like checking out a lake, but like stalking a woman who definitely saw him, and that's how he got caught. Like he was a cop and someone he had trained caught him basically at half-mast outside this terrified woman's house.
Nice.
Like, what the fuck? I know we talk about this a lot, but our ancestors did such a good job giving us rights. It always makes me sad that these dipshits don't. Yeah, right.
Just try it.
Humans were given, even beyond the benefit of the doubt, we went out of our way to treat everybody fairly despite we don't deserve it.
Yep.
So to spit in the face of the people who were like, you need a lawyer because you're innocent and even if you're guilty, just to be like, nah, dog, I know what you're talking about. I went from knowing exactly what was going on in that neighborhood and my best friend Willie, who we put up a fence with, to like, nope, I don't even know where we are in time or space anymore.
Where are we?
But I think there's some verses that says, at some point everything is known. And I truly believe that. And one of these days that you're going to have to come to realize that. And I think that your best bet is simply tell the truth.
I've been telling the truth.
No.
Well, unfortunately, what you're telling me doesn't.
Rights are for A kids. Miss me with that gay shit. No homo, right? Miss me with that. Yeah. Nah, dog. You filming? You feel me? We are filming.
Align with any of the physical evidence that we have. And unless there's a huge conspiracy to the FBI and the OSB.
Like, you'd have to be a Robert Tejas level figure for, like, the real estate company and all of the Las Vegas PD to be against you here, man. I don't see it happening.
And our officers from 17.
I don't know what he thought was going to happen here, because he knew he did it. He was being called in and questioned about it specifically. Tony here doesn't feel like the type of dude who's ever, like, used charisma to get in or out of anything.
Right. Yes.
But the Peter principle still holds firm. If you think you're competent, no one can talk you out of it.
This is one of those bad news situations.
Yeah.
We have to explain this. And I really think you need to talk about it. Because I think that's the best thing for you to do, is simply tell us the truth.
I don't know.
I think you're going to feel better about it. You're going to have a weight lifted off your shoulders.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, you got somebody's blood.
So as of this moment, when he firmly tucks his legs back onto the table here, and he will no longer be looking at the detective.
Yeah.
If my memory serves correctly, he will be questioned for another half an hour. God knows if we're going to get through it. I'm so sorry this is taking so long, but this is what you're here for. He will no longer even make eye contact. Like when they were talking about, what were they talking about when he opened up, like the fishing or whatever? He was like, yeah, brother. But now that is long behind us. And again, I'm not a fan of body language analysis. I don't believe you can like accurately predict someone based on such a short window, because you would need a baseline from that person, unless you're like, a precog or whatever. But this could not be more. I mean, even to the layman, like when someone opens up and displays their package towards you, you go, yeah, we're all brothers here. Check it out. My legs are open and my dick is on display. I trust you with my genitals. To then like slam your legs shut and go right back into like the fetal position, essentially.
Yeah.
Because look at him. He looks like a jumbo shrimp on the Barbie.
But not mine. I was not there.
Okay.
Not that night, not the night before, not the night after.
Did someone talk you into doing something? Going with them?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Seriously.
So how do we explain your blood?
You know, most people get mad if you accuse them of just like any random thing that they know they didn't do, and they'll get up in your face sometimes, or they'll just be like, no, fuck you, this is a lie.
Yeah.
And those are interpersonal conflicts. This is a police officer being like, I think you should go to jail for the rest of your life. And he's like, nuh-uh.
No,
Someone accuses me of something I didn't do, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'll either be like totally terrified and sad, or very angry and go against everything that's being said, because like, hey, what the fuck?
Right.
The one thing I wouldn't do is just like sit there, no affect at all, and go like, nah, dog, I don't think so. I'm not feeling that shit. I'm not feeling this murder accusation, bruh. Come on, bruh.
I have no idea.
Where's the other detective you just asked? Oh, here's the thing. He's running to get the DNA results off the printer. I don't know why it takes him so long.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm trying to go in my head how anything, but whenever she was living there, I didn't go there. I was there when William was there.
Of course, he didn't wear 8-year-old underwear.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what? How did that get there? God, I'm just racking my brain. Did I ever touch someone's underwear in single digits? Nah, dog. I'm not feeling that shit.
And even then, I
Dot matrix.
don't see how to cut myself on a window.
He's running off on a dot matrix printer, so it'll be like 30, 40 minutes tops.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't there, bro.
Bro, we heard it.
Bro.
Wasn't there, bro?
I don't know either.
Bro.
But you were there, bro.
No. I'm telling you that the physical evidence is going to have to be explained.
But it's just the blood. I mean, I can't think of better evidence to have, but like when you say physical evidence, it makes it feel like there's more, like there's a smoking gun.
Yeah.
But it's 17 years after the fact. Don't say physical evidence. I realize like maybe that's to a boomer, like they don't understand DNA, but like
Well, blood is a physical thing.
right, but it's 2015. And we'll get to it hopefully. I might have to call it early cuz like holy fuck, it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes. But like he'll later say like I watch crime shows. How do you watch a single crime show and not understand DNA evidence?
I think that you made a mistake, and I think you've
They're faxing
lived
the
with it
results
a long
through.
time.
Just a big
And I
old
believe that
whoopsie daisy.
Your
Oh, yeah.
depression issues and things,
Send him the
the way
teletype.
you were raised, and
There he
the
goes.
abuse that you took as a child,
You've got nowhere to go,
I've
Brick.
never
I
had
got
that
to go to
it
bed.
has something to do with it. I really do. This is our OSBI results. I kind of,
Smell you later.
Bye.
no disrespect,
Remember all that talk we had about having to piss? Well, guess what I gotta do?
I get the impression maybe you don't believe me when I
You're back at the double team for only a few brief moments.
Yeah.
told you. So I want to just bring you the copy directly from OSBI, and we've highlighted it here for you, okay?
Put my glasses on because this is important.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand that this isn't a bluff, Tony.
If I were a detective, I would tell my perps everyone is allowed one aw shucks for a crime if they confess real quick.
Everybody gets one mulligan. Everybody gets one.
Shut.
Spider-Man.
I'm kind of okay with that rule, Thomas, because any single action can be anywhere between like half a dozen and like 18 charges. So like one mulligan would take him down to like anywhere between 5 and 17 charges. So yeah, one aw shucks, I'll give him. If they confess real quick.
You see those odds? Those odds, I can just tell you that from my years of experience, I've never seen at that level, which means this is your DNA. Okay, this is your blood, Tony.
No.
Okay.
Don't know.
To know.
Here is
Dunno.
This is like when David Cross and Bob Odenkirk were like that Oasis ripoff band in that Miss Your So sketch. And he goes, Dunno. It's creamy. And he just says Dunno and he makes some sarcastic comment. Dunno.
That's Kirsten's panties that her mom identified that she had on that night. And that's where your blood was found, as well as on her windowsill.
Take a good long look, Tony.
So this isn't just a, and just so you'll know, we also located some blood on the fence picket, and it's still out for testing. But I suspect that there's a good chance that'll come back to you.
That would be a good way, Rachel, because once you're arrested, like, I imagine at some point, like through the booking process, you have to like take in the reality of the situation. But since he technically still feels like he's here voluntarily, I don't know what's going on. And that's why this is so compelling, is like we went through all the bullshitting. Here's the evidence. And I guess what do you do in a situation like this? Because again, a prosecuting attorney on cross-examination has the luxury of going like, science says this, you say this, those conflict, and science, like the scientists we paid who are impartial, are going to take precedence.
Yeah.
But in this situation where you go like, come on, man, like this is what, and maybe part of it is like the reports that come out from official bodies have to have like that sort of jargon. If instead of saying the likelihood that this genetic profile is the perpetrator is 1 in 760 sextillion, instead of just being like, yeah, this bitch did it. Like if you looked at a piece of paper that said Anthony Palma is a fucking bitch, and you go, God damn, you got me. But if you have to look down like a lab report where it's just a bunch of numbers and like
A
alpha
graph.
prefixes and graphs and like decimal points, you go like, well, that doesn't mean shit to me, but that just means that you're a fucking idiot. Being stupid doesn't get you out of the crime. Like, I never learnt math. Oh, good, then you're innocent, I guess.
Thomas says, when I was at the dentist actually called in another dentist to look at my tooth, and they kind of laughed over it, and I tell you that's what detectives should do, because it made my emotions pop.
Right? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, to have someone come in and go, oh, yeah, this is a slam dunk. Like, it's kind of like when you're an employee somewhere and you ask your boss something and they go to their boss and you see the interaction. They both sort of laugh and chuckle and point at you, and you know that that doesn't mean anything good.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah, and he knows he did it.
I can't explain it.
And that's what I want to give you an opportunity to do, is explain it, because it's scientific evidence. We know for a fact it's your blood. And of course, Tony, I don't have to tell you that when these paintings are identified as
A third balding middle-aged guy. I mean, you couldn't turn that evidence down.
Kirsten's,
3 men with thinning hair? I'm guilty.
And Mom says, yeah, she was wearing those the night before. And the next morning at dawn, your blood is found in them at the back fence of the property.
And Don's wife.
I mean, if you're in my position
At
as a
dawn
detective,
or
what does that
at
tell you?
Dawn's?
It was at dawn.
Look good for me.
His house.
And I just want to plead with you to be honest.
I want to be honest.
I'd love to be honest, but I don't want to go to jail and be horribly murdered by my cellmate. Is that going to happen, guys?
Debatable.
Guys?
I'm doing honest.
No.
Well,
I don't.
I mean, Tony, I think this has gone on for so many years
17.
and has been unsolved, as you well know, for a long, long time. And I'm sure you've told people countless times, I had nothing to do with it, I don't know anything about it, etc., etc.
remember Idiocracy when all the judges, lawyers, and everyone dressed like Chris Watts? It's been a while since I've seen Idiocracy, but I am at least familiar with the Chris Watts situation. Are you talking about when he did that interview in like that gray pseudo leopard print Under Armour shirt?
What?
That was fucking crazy. Yeah, like the interview was like, this house is like a ghost town. I want them to run in and hug me. And even if I crack my head open on the tile. Yeah, fucking, oh God.
But this isn't the time to keep saying the same old routine, because this isn't.
You know, it's bad enough they keep saying panties, but hearing these old ass Shonies,
Country boys.
buffet boys say, it gnarls me. Yeah, exactly. Fucking Shonies. Great reference. Shonies died in Arizona, like in the 90s, but boy, do I remember Shonies. Great reference. Almost as good as a Sizzler.
This isn't going away. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, this is scientific evidence, Tony. That's your DNA. That's your cells.
No.
Your body.
No.
Not true.
Tell me what happened. How did you get injured?
I'm trying to figure it out myself.
You were in some
Another
injury
dude.
for your blood
Yeah.
to be on her window,
We're going to see a couple of cast changes. This is just the first.
and for your blood to be in her panties. Mike, what I
Sizzlers back there. Yeah, everybody's still got a Sizzlers. There's like 2 left in the continental U.S.
want to know from you, was there some kind of a dispute between you and Kirsten?
I had no dealings with those people. Didn't know nothing about them.
Yeah, was she late on her loan payments to you as an 8-year-old?
I believe that.
No.
I believe that.
Right, he's racking his brain to try to figure it out. They're on the same team, Thomas. You nailed it.
But I also believe that this is your DNA.
It's just like they were the Geek Squad.
Oh, yeah.
It just feel like it's like, hey Tony, P.S. Like, do you have any like audio video issues? Like, you got a hi-fi that needs set up?
On her window seal and your DNA
Seal.
on her
window
panties
seal.
in the backyard. I don't doubt that you didn't know
I'm
them,
here
but that
to
doesn't
party.
take this away. This isn't going anywhere. And we've got to get to the truth of the matter. I mean, for you to sit here and say, I've never been in that backyard and I wasn't there,
100% lie.
it's a lie, Tony.
Yeah,
That's not the
what I'm
truth.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the
That's
truth.
not how I'd answer that question if I were guilty. I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, to each his own. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
Selling a home system setup.
And I got to believe,
Fell off the back of a truck.
if I can speak frankly, you seem like a good guy. And
You're not a
I know
monster.
if I'd made a mistake like that, and we all make mistakes, we're all
Grant, you're a hopeless, internet porn addicted, cam model supporting, hydrocephalic weirdo, right? I think you're a good guy. I think your parents and your brother
They're the
are
problem.
they're the real problem. You and Sylvie, perfect couple. I wish I could adopt you, Grant. Honestly, you, Todd Colehip is the closest second, and he's a distant second.
sinners. But I got to believe this has been bugging you for your entire
Listen, Brick, everybody's a good guy. You can look past the murder as long as they are totally... They did read him his rights. It was way earlier. I talked over it. But yeah, they did read him his rights. We have got our bases covered.
life since it happened.
I'm trying to figure it out.
If it doesn't, then you're a cold-blooded killer, Tony.
Doesn't
Is
fit.
that
You
what
must
you're
have
telling
quit.
me?
I ain't never killed nobody.
I ain't never done kill no one.
So you're telling me what happened that morning or that night
And even
hasn't
then,
been bothering you all these years?
there's no way he's
That's
just a
not
one and
me.
done.
I don't.
No.
Was that the alcohol, or were you experimenting with
No,
something
I
else?
don't do drugs, and I don't know. I don't know. I still trying to fathom in my mind what blood, my blood.
Yeah.
Blood. I hope this isn't Chris's blood.
I was nowhere around there. Didn't know them people. Didn't have no dealings with them people. Didn't care about them people.
Tony, this is your
I understand.
opportunity.
Okay.
You can sit here and say that same crap over and over. You and I both know that's not the truth.
You can see how this
The
looks.
truth will have to come out.
I'm Chris Hansen.
The
I
truth
don't
will have to come
understand
out.
this.
The truth is what needs to come out.
Yeah.
And you're the only
truth is
person
out
that
there.
can do that. You're the only person
Yeah, I'm not a druggie. Murder, I mean, TBD, but definitely no drugs.
to bring Kirsten back and let her family have a problem.
Cool.
Sick Resident Evil reference, bro. Thank you, Thomas. I'm glad you got that. Thank God, brother.
Burial for her. You're the
Oi, brother.
person that can help me that.
Brother.
You made a mistake, Tony. Okay, you made
The
a huge
truth is out there.
Yeah.
The problem is, you know, the Greys abducted Kristen and planted his blood. We've all seen the X-Files. Brian Payne with the black goo in him that constantly is fluctuating behind his
Oh, yeah.
eyes. He infected the little girl with the chupacabra virus. She got taken away by the fungus, and Tony here is being railroaded. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Oi, brother. You commit this murder, brother.
I had a
You
slight
say,
crush on David Duchovny in
"Do
X
it
Files,
right now."
but
Everybody did back in the 90s.
nothing beats Christopher Maloney.
take responsibility for what happened and help us get Kirsten back.
Can't help
Hey,
you.
bro.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Stupid.
You said that's not me, and when somebody says that to me, what it says is
That's not-
I wasn't in my right mind. I was under the influence.
Not in the influence. Like I said, if I had a beer, I might have had 2.
If I had a beer, might have had 2. If I had 1, I might have had 2, which means I definitely had 14.
I went to bed.
Gillian Anderson, bruh. Hey, brother, you like Gillian Anderson's boobs, brother? That's one thing that Gillian Anderson did over Mariska Hargitay. Like, I don't know when it happened in time, but there are pictures of Gillian Anderson that make the rounds on Facebook or Instagram. Like every time X-Files is in the pop cultural zeitgeist,
Yeah.
like you'll see like some side boob of Gillian Anderson. I've never seen that from Mariska. I mean, are we missing out? Probably. It's too late now.
I always go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm
Christopher
at 10
Maloney,
o'clock.
man, Rachel. Oh my
1
God.
is 3, 2 is 6, 6 is 2 dozen. Yeah, exactly. If you've ever seen someone on Cops or Cops in the UK or in Australia, they probably call them coppers. You know, say I've had 2 beers. That means 24.
Bedtime guy. The only
Boy, brother, you ever have a row with a missus? Your 8-year-old missus?
reasons here lately I haven't been going to sleep is because I have to have.
Mariska Hargitay and Tequila and Bonetti. I don't have much experience with Mariska outside of SVU. There are definitely like, there's a bell curve of when she was like the hottest.
Yeah.
Season, like, it depends. Like early 2000s Mariska, you can't beat it. She's a little bit like Muriel Hemingway. The older she gets, it feels like she's got something megally. Like her jaw feels like it's growing out of proportion.
Yeah. Her.
Have
Yeah.
a treatment.
Her
And I
lower
wake
face
up
looks
every
weird.
2.5 hours, 3 hours, take a treatment, go back to sleep.
Sarah Boone had a glass of wine.
Just
I have
one.
nothing bothering me. Other
Right,
than
but it's the weekend. You don't have to wake up in the morning. That's the time, you know, you get to relax and
breathing problems.
Smoke in your house.
So your conscience hasn't been bothering you for all these years.
No.
Let me ask you this. Your wife told us that every year on Kirsten's anniversary that you're upset about it, that you go through.
so Rachel, yeah, in modern times, Mariska Hargitay does carry a masculine look about her, but like in the first 10 seasons of the 25 that are available, not bad. You know, that's the thing. You have to age the way you age.
Yeah, I mean, she was still. I mean, her role in general was a very like. I don't want to say a masculine role, but yes, the stuff that she did, the way she acted was.
Whoa. So Thomas says Mariska Hargitay was the original actress planned for the sexy alien warrior in the original Power Rangers film. So the original Power Rangers film, which I did see, by the way. Yeah, like classic jizz time. Early 2000s Mariska in like a Power Rangers style, like villainous costume, probably has a ton of cleavage like those disgusting Klingon sisters in TNG. Like, yeah, whatever. Call it a butterface. That window to those Klingon boobs always had me looking through it, if you know what I mean.
Go through a phase of being depressed and upset about it.
And the reason that is, it's on the news, and yeah, how do you feel about it?
Power Rangers. I'm gonna have to.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be upset. I mean, it's a missing child. Duh.
Saved to bookmarks.
But I mean, as far as me, what day is this? No.
It's not just a missing child.
It is
Tony.
jizz
It's a
time,
missing
says
child with
Thomas.
your blood
Let's get
on
there.
her windowsill and your blood on her panties. So should that affect you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that tells me you're human. That tells me that you.
Yeah, that's no joke. I didn't wait. I just looked. Yeah, early 2000s Mariska Hargitay, and like this is, I realize you can't see what I'm looking at, but this is like a Xena warrior princess style
No, I have to look it up. God damn it.
situation. Yeah, jizz time for sure, Thomas. Boy,
If you have a heart and you have a conscience.
you know, you spend your day with a true crime show. Someone mentions Mariska Hargitay in the Power Rangers movie, and boy, you know what I mean, guys?
But you're not showing it, sitting here and denying that you've never been in there. I don't know anything about it. That wasn't me. That's not the truth, Tony. This is the time
I
to get this off
understand
your
that.
The
chest.
exact
That's-
time.
But I
Oh wow,
that's the
yeah.
Yeah,
don't
same.
get it.
Imagine Christopher Maloney in like a Power Ranger style
Oh.
codpiece rolling around.
You need to think about that, because I'm just telling you, when all this gets presented to the judge and jury,
I understand.
That's rough.
do you think anybody's going to believe
It's
what
not
you're
gonna look
saying?
good on me, no.
Nobody's going to believe you,
I just,
because it's not the truth, Tony.
Right, when the story is, I don't know, it's hard to believe that, because what is there to believe?
If you want to carry it to your grave
He did.
and not do what's right, that's on you.
He did do both
But
of
you need
those.
to
Yeah.
think about what you're doing, because right now, these
you know, I'm
decisions
thinking
you're
about
making,
how's my damn
How's
blood
my damn-
or me.
How
Because I
the
was
hell
not
did
there.
that happen, you guys?
And I know in that night I was in my same bunk.
I'm befuddled as hell. I was in my bunk.
Did I read that the other day?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
well, it's pretty clear.
No.
Well,
Can I read it? Because I really know what I'm reading here.
like, we're probably not going to get to it because we've been going for 3 hours. We've got another half an hour of real-time footage to go. But, like, in case we don't get to it, which we probably won't, like, another older detective comes to replace this guy, even though this young guy replaced this detective. An older guy who comes in and says, like, it's 1 in, like, 16 sextillion or something. He's like, you know how many zeros are in that number?
A lot.
Sorry, I jump ahead. He said it's 1 in 16 sextillion. He's like, you know what that is? And he's like, that's not real, Tony says. He says, that's not real. That's not a real number. So not only do you think, are they bullshitting you on the DNA, they're just making up numbers that don't exist?
Yeah.
1 in sextillion. That's not a thing. Aha, gotcha. It's like when Susan Monica was like, thought she had one up on the detectives and were like, the person who's owned this property since 1994. And she goes, aha. Sure, I fed 2 people to my pigs, but that ain't the year I bought the property. Loophole. I shit the chair. Susan Monica.
The chair.
You know how big sex
And the lie detector guy's like, oh, there's shit in the chair. What's up with that? And she's like, yeah, I shit there. And he's like, all right, let's get this test underway.
Yeah, let's do it.
billion is?
11 gazillion. 1 in 11 gazillion, Anthony. I don't believe that's real. Oh, damn, he saw through our lies.
Shit.
Infinity plus 1, he says.
Yeah, it's too big. I mean, you can line
How
people
would he
up
know it's a
from
real number? Yeah,
planet
how would
Earth
he?
all the way to the moon.
See ya.
Hi, I'm Young Detective.
You remember me, don't you?
No.
I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
I've been working on this case for 2 years. Here, look at me real quick. I've been working on this.
I love it. It happens
at
in
me.
almost every interrogation when they say, look at me. Never makes a fucking difference. Whether you have them look at you or not, if they're scumbags and disconnected from reality, doesn't matter who they're looking at or what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Hey, look at me. You're a piece of shit. They go, nah, man. Nah.
Nah.
on this for 2
Nah,
years.
bro.
I've got a little
See, they're
girl
using back backwards today.
that's about her age, Kirsten's age at the time. And this case is all I think. This case has taken over me, and
I can imagine.
it's all I think about, you know. And I told you earlier on, you know, all the cases I work is crimes against children cases. So my whole life, I go
he's an
home,
SVU
I have
guy.
kids. I come to work, I deal with kids, you know. And you seem like you said in our past, you know, conversations we've had, all you do is you care about kids. You take care of the neighborhood kids.
You're feeding them chicken. You're fixing their bikes. You're a good dude. I think you're a good dude. I would like to have a beer with you. If you weren't going away for murder. We could totally have a Coors.
And you got a heart just
I
like
don't
me.
understand that.
Yeah, and
I don't
that's what
understand.
we're trying to figure out, Tony, is how is your blood, your DNA,
That's for you bowling in the shit.
get on it? And you were there when I took your sample from you, right?
Hello?
We had an unknown male profile, DNA.
He knew they had DNA and offered his up. watching crime shows.
On her panties and on her windowsill.
So?
It don't make no sense to me.
It doesn't have to make sense to you guys. That's the thing. It has to make sense to a jury. And it will, especially when they have something unassailable like this. They're not trying to convince you of something you already know because you were there and did it. Right, guys? It's not like the aim of the court is not to get you to understand what you did. They just need 12 random yahoos like sold on the idea. It's like selling them a new car. You have to, like, anyone with any amount of charisma can get a conviction, but you don't need any charisma when they found your blood in somebody's underwear.
Yep.
Like, if they found my blood in somebody's underwear, I'd be like, you know, if I honestly didn't know how it got there, I'd be like, fuck you, this is a lie. I wouldn't go like, nope, don't know, I'm trying to figure it out. Did I leave vials of blood in children's underwear anywhere? Probably not, right? It's a stupid thing to do.
I think saying panties is like a Southern thing, regardless of the age. I don't know if they do it to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, maybe it is like a soda versus Coke thing in the South, but it is definitely not. Not comfortable.
No.
All I'm concerned about is where's she at, Tony?
I'm sure.
Where's she at? Help me find her.
Help me before you're murdered brutally in a prison cell. We've only got 4 years, dude. Hurry! He never does.
He needs a twin.
I mean, we got pictures of windowsills and the windowsill that day. You know, we can go right down the line with all these pictures. You know, you say, oh.
Look at my glasses.
I mean, everything.
I'm interested.
Of course, today it's a totally different ballgame. There'd be 500 pictures of a windowsill, and it's all there. I mean,
Did you figure out the print?
yeah, those are kids' prints there.
Did you figure out the prints? Yeah. You don't need to pay money for print collection, right? And plus, since they were like the size of, I mean, how big can an 8-year-old fingerprints be? Like, you would never confuse, like, if I touch something and my son touches something, you'd be like, well, one of these prints is 1/3 the size of the other. So either we have a Hobbit situation or this belongs to a child. Well, I'd love to help you, but I just can't figure it
I was not
out.
there the day before, that day, next day. I know.
Oh. Well, damn, if you know, then I guess run
You're
on
free to
home.
leave.
Have some beer and see dog.
You talked with the FBI since the last time you and I spoke?
No.
Okay. What all have you done for the FBI? Have you taken a polygraph? Have you been to their office?
The only time I was talked to the FBI was when they were in my house.
Okay. But you never taken a polygraph or anything like that. Didn't we ask you about a polygraph when I spoke?
So I don't know if it's about to come up, but one of the things that he did say to his wife was that the FBI did administer a polygraph to him and he passed. Neither of those things happened.
Oh.
You asked. I don't think we did.
You know, but the Tracy deal.
Okay.
Right, Brick. That's the problem, is when you have a dude like this, and I was saying this earlier, the dudes who have secrets and keep those secrets is either like a bargaining chip, whatever their reason is, right? Because we all know he did it. They know he did it. He knows he did it. This isn't like an OJ situation where people go, not guilty, and you go, what the fuck? Like, there's no room for error because this is very obvious. It's only dudes who have a secret that get taken out with, like, unbelievable speed.
Yeah.
Like, because he was only in the clink for probably like 3 years, because if he got arrested in 2015, he got taken out in 2019. Let's just be generous and say the trial and everything and yada, yada, yada. Wasn't in jail for the first 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to have to, not you're going to have to, but at some point, typically what happens is you break and you look for something, you do what everybody else does and you find Jesus and you want to make amends. But some dudes just don't. And I think that's probably what, like with what's his nuts, Steven something or other. I can't remember his name, but he killed his roommate, Selly. He killed his Selly, Ted, because he wouldn't stop talking about his crimes.
Yeah, we've talked about him before.
Yeah, he's on this show too. But it's equally as, like, I mean, there's no way to win in prison if this is the type of crime you're in for. You have an equal amount of chance of getting got if you can't stop talking about it or you won't finish the story.
Right.
Because it feels like everybody who finishes their story just sort of lives and they get beaten up every once in a while or have boiling water, but they don't get like got. Yep. Whereas like a dude like this, because everybody opens up in prison cells. That's why they have so many undercover cops in jails and prisons, like listening to this shit. But like, I can only like it must have been so frustrating for his cellmate because he probably did open up about this and he found out about it and he goes like, well, so what happened? Even as just like morbid curiosity as your cellmate, he'd probably want to know. But then to be like, nah, dog. Yeah, I'm glad he got. Fuck him.
Yep.
I would like to think it was like somewhere along the lines of Richard Huckle, if you're familiar. The most prolific offender of this type, like to date, brutally tortured for an extended period of time. And that makes me feel a little good, even though I feel a little bit bad about that because I shouldn't feel good about the human suffering inflicted upon him. However, what he dished out was nothing compared to what he got.
Yeah.
It's like supplying an ocean and getting paid back for a pond.
Oh, that's right. You did take a polygraph of that.
Good.
Yes.
New detective. New old detective, right? No, damn it.
But we need to figure this out.
Yeah, you do.
But you're my key. You're the one that can help me, Tony.
We'll figure it out, dog. Bro.
I want you to help me.
If I could, I would, because it's making me look real bad.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Typically when a child goes missing and we find your DNA at the scene and on the underwear of the victim, yeah, it looks real bad. What makes it look worse, though, is when we come to you with this evidence that is unassailable and you go, I dunno.
Right.
It doesn't make it better.
Oh, yeah, they're all eating KFC. They're getting like secret texts like, okay, it's your turn. Come get your drumsticks.
Yeah, we got all that talk about KFC. We're in a family bucket. Plenty of biscuits and coleslaw. Come on out when you get a chance. Yeah, I'm glad. Like, yeah, Huckle was a piece of shit. We'll never cover him on this channel. Just if you know, you know. Fuck that dude. And I'm glad he got what he got. I wish it lasted longer than it did. That's all we got.
Well, I'm not going to hear, I'm not going to browbeat you, I'm not going to be mean or anything, but I need the truth. I need
the truth too.
I need to find her.
I need the truth too.
I
I'm
need
so
to find
curious.
Kirsten. Help me find her.
Not going this long. Yeah, they're going like, God damn, I could go for some KFC. Not for nothing, but when I ate that type of trash, I go with the strips, extra crispy. Like back in the day when you could ask for like extra, like batter essentially. I don't know if they ever did it, but I would say extra crispy, extra spicy. Probably never happened because it's prepared in a factory 1,000 miles away from the place I ate it, and they go, yes, sir.
We'll charge you more for it.
If you ask for a burger with extra pickles, they go, yeah, we got pickles. We'll put some on there. But you say extra crispy, they're going to go like, this shit was made 6 months ago, dude. Just fucking eat it.
I can't help you.
Was there somebody else involved?
I can't help you on that either. I didn't help anybody or help myself.
I did not help myself to that delectable 8-year-old.
Ugh.
Piece of shit. I'm glad this dude was murdered in prison. Holy fuck. That's the only reason I'm getting through this, because I know that no matter what he says or does here, number one, he was committed of the crimes to life in prison, and that life sentence was 4 years. And he got.
Take this girl.
Your girl's not going to make it through the rest of this because I'm going to fall asleep sitting here. KFC here hires Mickey D's and
Doing
Burger
a
King.
KFC employee training video. I will hit up just training videos.
Yeah.
I've got some news that I'll get to at the end of the show, but yeah, I will look into that.
And how do you explain the blood?
I don't.
That's
I
the
don't.
problem. You gotta.
Let me see your arm. You have
Don't.
a scar on your arm. What happened there?
Toilet
I
bowl.
was picking up a toilet bowl and it cracked
When was that?
last year.
Toilet bowls are incredibly hard to break, by the way.
Yeah,
Like
how do you do that?
they're engineered to. I mean, you've seen a lot of people in the mall or out in the Walmart. They have to deal with those asses,
Yeah.
right? You think picking it up, like Tony here was like hulking out, and he's like, toilet bowl, my arm, as if.
Hey, I don't mean to be rude. I'm Major David Huff. I'm
Wait, did
Oh,
we
it is
have...
the other guy.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Yeah, they were in the same Geek Squad shirt, so I'm glad you caught that. But we did a KFC training video because I remember talking about frying chicken. Not to get into it, like check the back catalog. We definitely did. Maybe it was Church's, but whatever.
I'm pretty
Remember.
much these guys' boss.
Pretty much.
The guys been out there kind of talking to me about the interview.
We look exactly alike from behind.
Yep.
The other old cop. In fact, maybe we're the same guy, and I'm just saying, hey, here I am. I'm a new dude.
We're all balding.
What do you say? Let's take a break.
Picking up a broken toilet. Yeah.
I don't want you to get.
Somebody's huge ass busted a toilet bowl. I was picking it up and it cut me. Like not, and I was squeezing a porcelain bowl so hard that I broke it.
Upset at us. We really are trying to get to the truth, but I don't want you getting upset with us. Take a drink of water.
Take a
We'll just
break.
relax for a minute, okay? We'll just take a deep breath. All right.
Take a sip
I
of
know- I
water.
know-
Last night, smoke a cigarette?
Yeah, this is after the fucking. Oh my god! Thank God we're here because after this, I'm gonna call it. This is the. Let's do it. Have a cigarette.
Yeah, come on out with us. You're gonna have to go with us though, okay?
Okay, yeah, I understand.
I want to make sure we don't have any juveniles out here. Hold on just a second.
That's the weird thing. So he says, yeah, let's get you a cigarette. Let's walk outside. Let's make sure there aren't any juveniles out here. Now, presumably, he'd have to go outside to smoke. Would they just let him smoke in the hall where these alleged juveniles are hanging out? That's confusing.
And where are, like,
Yeah,
what?
well,
Yeah.
Right.
They probably don't know.
Because they never recovered her body, so they don't know. And let's be real, guys. You think he just abducted an 8-year-old to do nothing but extinguish her?
Right.
No. But it's like Brent Christensen, like Yingling never was found. So you can't say with 100% certainty what happened to her, though we can make inferences based on the implication. Yeah, we all know what happened to this poor 8-year-old, but since he took the secret of where she is to this day to his grave, we don't know for sure. But I'm going to say there's a 98% chance, to me at least, I know exactly what happened. I don't want to think about it because it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But the implication is thick enough that, like, if it were on a cake, it would be nothing but buttercream. Yeah, that's why he kept. If they had found the body and they had probably been able to play that card, he probably would have squealed like a pig.
Yep.
But since they didn't have that card to drop, and they said it a couple of times, they just want to know where she is. We need to know where she is. He never let them know.
Yeah.
But that probably would have been the smoking gun to get him from, I don't know, I'm trying to figure this out for myself, to, yeah, she did come at me when I broke into her window. Like, that's when he would start to pick up the offered bullshit. Like, yeah, I was trying to help her and things went wrong.
Right.
But since they just have again, just as good, in my mind anyway, the blood on these two articles and or items.
Yeah.
He got life in prison. Like, we didn't need the habeas corpus, so to speak. Yeah. Just like, what's his name? Oh, God, what's his name? Mr. Franklin. He's African-American guy, abducted, SA'd, and killed a 12-year-old, threw her in the river. And after a long interrogation, like, he was like, did you find the candy in her mouth? Like, I don't know why you would ask that question.
Seriously.
If you knew you were the murderer. But yeah, same situation where, like, he, after assaulting and murdering and then dumping the body of this 12-year-old, his backwards defense was like, yeah, she was trying to get at the D. Yeah, when I was 12, all the girls I knew wanted that D. It wasn't like they were confused about sexual activity or even knew what, like, the function of a dick was back then.
Nope.
They were constantly horned up. Bull fucking shit.
You know, after 17 years, it's hard to remember where you buried the body.
Yeah, it's hard.
I normally don't do it. I'll let you smoke in here.
What?
Okay, so yeah, there was a juvenile out there. They couldn't somehow walk him past that juvenile, so they let him smoke in here. We're going to call it, but I'm going to give you a couple of tidbits. I told you to remember the nebulizer.
Yeah.
He, during his smoke break, admits that he is a 3-pack-a-day smoker.
Hot damn.
So
He's got real bad asthma.
the problem with these type of people, and it's just another reason to hate this stupid son of a bitch, is so being a 3-pack-a-day smoker, yet having to wake up every 2.5 hours while sleeping to take a nebulizer treatment to clear out your lungs feels like you in your house constantly spraying gas out of like an arachnophobia style like bug sprayer, lighting your house on fire, and waking up every 2.5 hours to throw a Dixie cup of water on it.
Right.
But after you wake up and the day has started anew, you go back to gassing your place up to burn it the fuck down. I hate motherfuckers like this. Murderer or no, when the doctors say do this and you go great, yet you don't take your foot off the gas that you push the pedal to the metal of like smoking or drinking or whatever they are doing to combat the things you're doing, and you don't even let up a little bit.
Yep.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Anthony Palma, you piece of shit. I'm glad your celly took you out. Everybody hates you, and rightfully so. So, let me tell you this. As mentioned previously, we are starting a business. Tomorrow is our grand opening. And as such, my Thursday through Sunday is going to be taken up by another full-time job. Will this channel survive it?
We'll find out.
I hope. At the very least, Wednesdays will still be open. Maybe we'll move true crime to something else. I hope this channel doesn't just wither away and die, because we just got to that point of like the milestone of monetization or whatever. But I will try like hell to keep this thing alive, because I really appreciate
We can
you
do
guys.
it.
But again, like, I've got a full-time job that I'm about to add the icing on that cake of another full-time job on top of, like, you know, being a regular adult and having a kid and a house I got to keep up and all that shit. So I'm hoping we can keep this alive in some form or fashion. At the very least, something will keep happening. I hope that it does.
Thomas, we're opening a meadery, a mead tasting room.
Yeah, and P.S. Mead is honey wine. So you got wine made of grapes. Mead, obviously, if you know mead, you know it's made of honey. The problem is, everyone I say, oh, we're opening a meadery, they go, oh, so you're selling meat?
Yeah, they always hear meat
bitch.
instead of mead.
Butcher shop never left my mouth. Like, a meatery doesn't exist. I'm not a butcher. I have no ability to carve up the carcasses of animals for sale. Can't do it. But yeah, so I'm gonna try like hell to keep this channel as much as I can alive. Maybe we'll do some shuffling. All will be revealed in the next few weeks as we get open and things start rolling. But I still, no matter what, whether this channel lives or dies a slow death, I want to say I appreciate all of you coming and experiencing this with us, being so fun in the chat. Rachel, Thomas, Brick, Matt, Ryan, everybody. If I've obviously forgotten your name because there are so many, and I appreciate you. It's been a dream. So if it doesn't keep going, I'll at least wake up having had some great memories. But I'm like I said, I'm gonna try like hell to make sure this keeps going because I love you guys and it's very fun in one way or another. Hopefully we can keep it going. However, if it doesn't, yeah, I'm sorry because shit. I mean, you guys are adults. You know how fucking shit goes. But yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate you showing up for this extended view at Anthony Palma's interrogation. Check the back catalog if there's something out there that you feel like you missed, but
we're not getting rid of the Discord.
Yeah, we're not going to get rid of the Discord. No. The link for that is in the show notes if you want to like check in and keep up and see where we are, because I'll definitely be harassing all of you in there. Like I said, don't be sorry, Steven. The hair was there, Steven. Wow, Steven. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next episode when and if that happens for sure, because at least Wednesdays will be open. So much obliged, guys. You've been great. Appreciate it. Thanks to Brick. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to let me pull up Thomas. Thank you for all the super chats. Many thanks, because opening a business turns out is not very cheap. And all of this, in addition to like just the fun and support, I appreciate you guys going above and beyond, because honestly, you don't have to. Still, awesome. Thank you so much. We will see you on the next episode. And until then, adios.
Bye.
You don't have Riz.
Oh, yes. I brought my thoughts on a board. God!
For the try to.
This is a nightmare.